2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
As a proud father, husband, taxpayer, citizen soldier, and son of Guam, I want to fight for our working class families who pay their taxes on time, send their kids to school, and abide by our laws while taxes rise and services suffer. For 13 years, I served you as a public school educator. For almost 13 years, I served you as a citizen soldier in the Guam National Guard. And now, as number 13 on the Democratic ballot, I want to serve you as your senator. Please vote Jack Hattick III for senator on November 6th.
So vote for Jack.
I'm Jack Hattick III, and I approve this message.
Instead of hundreds of U.S. troops, thousands of troops are heading to the border with Mexico as thousands of migrants head north from Central America.
I can confirm that a total of 5,200 active duty troops will be sent to the border with Mexico between now and December 15th. They are expected to be mostly in place by next week, but that number could rise.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon.
Ground personnel, we're told, military planners, troops with engineering capability, medical personnel. They will set up 3 unified command centers, temporary shelters for up to 2,400 Customs and Border Patrol personnel, riot gear for 500.
The caravan is still weeks away. The president also still considering a possible executive action to block anyone crossing the border illegally from seeking asylum. Singer Demi Lovato is on the road to recovery.
Her mother, Diana de la Garza, has revealed that Lovato is 90 days sober after her apparent drug overdose in July. She was a guest on Conversations with Maria Menounos on SiriusXM Stars channel and recounted what it was like for her to hear the news.
The words that I heard are just a nightmare for any parent. Demi overdosed.
De la Garza says she can't really say for sure what triggered Lovato's relapse, but says she couldn't be more thankful or, quote, more proud of her because addiction is a disease. It's work. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
So recapping the sell-off on Wall Street, it had been a triple-digit rally earlier in the day for the Dow, and then in the last hour of trading, the Dow was down over 500 points. A total swing of more than 900 points on the day. It finished down over 240 points, the NASDAQ falling under 7K. Some renewed concern about ongoing trade disputes getting part of the problem today. Oil prices dropping back under $67 a barrel. Lisa Brady, and this is Fox News.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sport Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sport Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
I didn't plan to be a single mom. No one does. But here I am, mid-30s, divorced with 3 kids, just trying to make things work. With the rising cost of living on Guam, it gets harder for working families like mine to get by. I've heard some politicians say that the economy is good, but rent is higher, health insurance is too expensive, and our incomes have stayed the same. It's clear that the change they're talking about hasn't been for us, and we deserve better. I'm just so tired of all the empty promises. It's time to fight for a Guam that working families can afford. That's why I'm voting for Lulian Guerrero. Lou is a successful businesswoman who doesn't just talk about creating jobs. She doesn't just talk about housing. She's made it possible for people just like me to buy their first home. So when she says she's going to work to make Guam better, I believe her and I trust her. I'm voting for Lou, and I ask all of you who are tired of the way things have been to vote for her too.
I'm Lulian Guerrero, and I approve this ad.
Paid for by the committee to elect Leon Guerrero Tenorio. Tony Sanford, Treasurer.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegli of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Morico Equipment is the exclusive Freightliner truck dealer in Guam and Micronesia. That exclusive part is important because Morico Equipment can sell new Freightliner trucks with the 2004 Mercedes diesel engine. If you operate trucks on Guam, then you know how important and reliable the old diesel engines are. The Mercedes diesel engine only in Freightliner trucks operates on both old and new diesel fuel. They do not require DEF fluid or engine regeneration. Freightliner trucks, only at Morico Equipment.
Your first look at 93.3 The Point News is brought to you by Guam Hearing Doctors. Call the experts at Guam Hearing Doctors if you're worried about your hearing. The evaluation is simple and painless.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 6 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Governor Ralph Torres of the CNMI has decided to postpone the November 6th general election in the Commonwealth. Torres told the Guam Daily Post that he consulted with Commonwealth Attorney General Edward Manabusin yesterday before making the decision, which he announced last night. The election will be postponed by 1 week until November 13th. Early voting, however, will begin next Tuesday on Election Day, November 6th. Torres told the Post, "Nothing is more important than recovery and people's life and well-being in the wake of Super Typhoon U2. He said he has suspended his election campaign while recovery efforts continue in the Commonwealth. Torres is a Republican who served as lieutenant governor under Governor Eloy Enos. Torres became the 10th governor of the CNMI in December of 2015, following Enos's death. He is competing against Democrat Juan Babauta, who served as governor of the CNMI from 2002 to 2006. A few quick online searches and phone calls to verify former table tennis Olympian Michael Hyatt's background would have given the Guam Table Tennis Federation pause before hiring him. However, the federation claims it didn't find out about Hyatt's past until the Guam Daily Post asked for comment. An arrest warrant has been issued in California for Hyatt, who is alleged to have committed welfare fraud. Two women claim they were financially conned by him, and he has been suspended by the U.S. Table Tennis Federation for alleged sexual misconduct. In a prepared statement issued to the Guam Daily Post, the Guam Table Tennis Federation said they welcomed Hyatt's enthusiasm to the sport of table tennis on island. The statement goes on to say that after 10 years of executing our development plan, it was heartwarming for us to know that an Olympian saw our efforts and wanted to use his expertise to help us achieve our goals. The Federation added towards the end of its statement that it has cut ties now with Hyatt, and he is no longer allowed to represent the Federation or use its logo until after he clears his name. We'll have more news after this.
We're surrounded by sound. There are sounds that you need to hear. There are sounds that you want to hear. And there are sounds that you long to hear. Hear it all, louder and clearer than ever before. If you or someone you know has a hard time hearing, Guam Hearing Doctors can help, using state-of-the-art test gear to evaluate your hearing and coming up with a plan to make your life better by making your hearing better. Call Guam Hearing Doctors for an appointment or visit them on the web at guamhearingdoctors.com.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
11 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. The latest stir on the campaign front is a video of remarks made by Democratic gubernatorial nominee Lou Leon Guerrero at a recent campaign rally. They have been seized on by her Republican rival Ray Tenorio. In the video, Leon Guerrero is heard to say, "This is my island. I am from here, Ray. I was born and raised here, Ray. My family is here, Ray, and I am more qualified to be governor of Guam." In response, Tenorio has issued a statement calling the remarks appalling and an insult to the Filipino, Chinese, and Korean and Micronesian communities that also call Guam home. The two candidates for governor face off again tonight in the great debate at the University of Guam Fieldhouse. Governor Eddie Calvo yesterday announcing he's ordered the release of funds for the payment of the annual cost of living allowance for GovGuam retirees. The funds have been remitted to the retirement fund. $13.9 million from the general fund was sent to the GovGuam retirement fund on Friday. $2.5 million from the autonomous agencies was sent yesterday. In a statement announcing the release, the governor said, with the efficient management of our cash resources, we've been able to ensure that our retirees have been able to get their cost of living allowance each year of the Calvo-Tenorio administration, he said. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at weather.
Partly cloudy today, Kevin, and very hot with isolated showers. Winds out of the east, 10 to 15 miles an hour, decreasing tonight. Highs near 90, and then we throw in the heat index, and according to that scoundrel weather guy, Mike, could be up around 105 degrees.
Hey, I'm just the messenger, man.
No, you're
blame
behind.
Blame it on the Brandon
this.
and Landon brothers over there. They're the ones that write that stuff.
Wow, 105 degrees. That's what the heat index will do.
Yesterday was only 101, and it was hot. So today, you might want to stay inside.
I was focusing on interior chores last night. I looked out yesterday. I looked outside, and I didn't even bother opening the window. I knew it was hot. And I said, no, I think I'm going to stay inside, work inside the house, as a matter of fact. Overnight lows about 77 degrees. We'll see the sunset at 5:54, sunrise at 6:14. And let me see. I'm positive I can put the thing. My screen is kind of busy right now because, as you can imagine, I'm getting videos and links to videos all over the place here. So let me see if I can scare up some weather map. There we go. That's what the weather map looks like, and it still doesn't look like there's anything happening in our neighborhood for hundreds of miles.
Yeah, nothing for us. That trough that moved through yesterday morning, as you can see, continues to slide off to the northwest and out of our way. Underneath the Facebook comments, we've got Typhoon Yutu, who is moving into the Philippines throughout the morning. Not quite the storm it was when it came through here, which is good for them.
Yeah.
For us, nothing on the horizon, man. Things are going to dry out at the mid-levels they were talking about, and looking like a pretty good week ahead for us. But it's going to be a little bit warm.
No, I don't know. When you say us, are you including all of us or just the Chamorros? Is that where we're going to be headed? I don't know. We'll see what happens once I start talking full time. 6:14 in the morning. That's news and weather brought to you by Bank Pacific. Where others put branches, they place roots. But there's another gizmo I need to tell you about. Obviously, they're working with the Azuda Foundation and are working very diligently on relief efforts over at Bank Pacific and in other places. They've got employees, they've got friends up in Saipan as well. So they want to do everything that they can to be able to provide relief. So coming up in a second, I'll tell you about some of the things that they are going to be up to over at Bank Pacific.
Calvo started with a simple handshake. As we celebrate 80 years, we extend a hand to all of you who have taken our hand in trust, to the dreamers and realists, the families, the businesses, the young at heart, and the old souls, our manumku and our children. From all of us to all of you, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by American President Lines. They're shipping the future Micronesia renewable energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. American Water Tech, smarter water, better water, and Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yeah, still got a couple of things to do. Dress up the studio, get some news coverage on the video monitors, and see what it is that people are talking about around the round world here. 888-8255 is a telephone number if you want to chime in on whatever it is that you are looking at on your WhatsApps and what your thoughts are on those things. But before I get too far into the program here, let me just punch through this here. It is a note from the guys over at Phil Floors. you might recall that name, works over at the Bank Pacific, who says, please join the Azuda Foundation and Bank Pacific in the We Are All One Typhoon Relief Drive. Donations can be dropped off at the Azuda Foundation headquarters in Agutya and all 4 Bank Pacific offices. And folks over at Bank Pacific join any number of other groups, including Mariana Strong, which is a group that we are aligned with the Guam Daily Post. And there's places where you can go and drop off all of the goods. It seemed like, you know, everywhere you turn, I mean, you just look over in that direction for 100 yards or so, you might see a container with a bunch of people filling it up. There's a lot of folks that are pulling on that relief rope for Saipan and the CNMI. And if you are looking around for someplace to go or someplace to drop off some water or flashlights or Huggies or whatever it is, keep listening. At some point, you know, somebody like me will tell you where to go and do all that. Hey, welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. And hopefully we'll, and I recognize many of you are suffering through these infernal dropouts that we have been plagued with. Still cannot find the source of those, so I'm going to be installing new and different equipment so that we can survey and find out where this intermittent problem is coming from, and hopefully once that installation is done, try to get it done by about noon today. We shouldn't have too many other problems for that. But if you find yourself going, gee, that's nice, is there a way that I can listen where I don't get the dropouts? Facebook Live, YouTube Live, probably the best ways to go. If you're watching online, if you're doing all of that stuff, you can find us at TuneIn, which is another great place, or just go to thepoint.gu. There's a big button on the top that says Listen Live. Or you can click, there's another button there that you can click, looks like an arrow, and if you click on that, then the TV show comes on, and you can see all of the movements and all of the happenings inside the radio station. So there's that. I got a call from a guy yesterday. He says, you know you're dropping out, right? I'm like, duh. Yeah, I get it. So a couple of other people I want to introduce. Michael Knight from right here at the radio station answers the phone when you call at 888-8255. That's 888-TALK. There's another way that you can get information to me, and that is with the WhatsApp. And WhatsApp has been cranking over the last 24 hours, 988-5874. That's 988-5874. And apparently we've gotten to that point in the campaign where issues, policies, people governing make absolutely no difference whatsoever. None whatsoever. I think we've gotten to that point where it's all going to come down to the, you know, cheap what is it? Division. Racism. That's a very, very strong word. But we're going to start dividing up the community here.
It's descending into a cult of personality, Ray.
What did Narissa refer to it as? Political hell.
Nice.
A descent into political hell, because, you know, and you'll... Who's the one that's so desperate? It's happening again. It is a descent into political hell in which the candidate suffers. Oh, no, in which the society suffers, and not just the candidates. There have been discussions. That's not Narissa's voice. That is not her voice. There have been discussions of real gun-grabbing efforts to destroy the church in opposition to a foster home in the newly named Millionaire's Lane. Someone asked my husband if we lived there, and he said, I'm not sure. I never heard of it until 2018. And if you're wondering where you might be able to find these comments by Narissa B. Underwood, former senator and resident of Tamuning, it's in both of the newspapers today because it's Narissa. It's Narissa. She got pull. She can get her stuff put in both of the editorial columns. We'll talk about that a little bit more, and obviously play some of these videos. Bob Luzama chiming in this morning. It is Great Debate Day. Great Debate Day. And I'd completely forgot about that. Super Tuesday today. Where are we going to watch? You're going to be there live, right?
Yes, we will.
Oh, my condolences.
Mm-hmm.
It's just noisy. It's because you know what? And here's the thing. It doesn't matter what they say. Any of the words that come out of their mouths up on the stage, it doesn't matter because the rabid fans on both sides, right? You get the both the guys.
That's part of the fun. And
they're going to be making all kinds of noise. And when Ray and Tony speak, it's going to be, you know, the place will rise into this incredible cacophony of sound. And then when Lou and Josh say something, they're going to boo them. Okay, but it's going to be the same thing on the other side. The lunatics will rise to that same incredible cacophony of noise. And when Ray and
the classic campaign event wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So for me, one of the is it going to be streamed? Is anybody streaming it?
We will, sure, and I'm sure others will as well.
Okay, so find the stream. Once upon a time, we used to put this thing on television, but it's 2018, so everybody is looking at their phones. What is the second time in a couple of days, 3 or 4 days, that there's been live streaming going on from the OG Fieldhouse. We got the great debate, Jets concert the other night. Why go to concerts when you can just have people stream it? Just hold the phone the right way, if you don't mind. But anyways, so I don't know. My preference is. And I'm not going to remember the name of the place, but it is above where Venue is now, and that used to be one of my favorite places to go and hang and shoot political bull with guys. Because there were a bunch of, and it would be the night. It would be Super Tuesday. It'd be the night of the great debate, and those were the best nights to be hanging out in there. Because number one, we're already in the mindset that tonight we're going to be shooting political bull all the way around the bar. The other one is it was a bar, and the bull gets better and deeper. And but I don't know. You know what always got me about the debates, great debates included, is both sides will claim victory. They in almost immediately.
What else are they going to do? Are we lost? No,
but I don't get it.
Not until next week.
I've never been able to fathom it. I've seen it feels like I've seen 100 of these debates going back years. I remember when Felix and Kaleo were up there, and I'd hear Uncle Robert speak. And Uncle Robert knows his way around a microphone. He knows how to campaign. We've seen all kinds of folks in great debate situations, and like I said, every side will claim a victory, and I go, yeah, I listened to every word. I didn't hear anything that really changed my mind or
that's like claiming
moved anybody off the dime.
That's like claiming victory in a solo game of darts. You're not really allowed to claim victory for yourself.
I winned it. 6:23 in the morning, 888-8255. Again, the telephone number, 988-5874. Items on the table of contents. Yes, obviously we are getting into a crazy, silly time for the election. The last 7 days to get your votes out. And as much as I think there ought to be conversations about this is what we're going to do about the economy. This is what we're going to do about the shaky tourism. This is what we're going to do about Guam Memorial Hospital or dropout rates or crime that we've got in there. I wish we would spend more time talking about things like that because I think they can be intelligent and fun conversations. And everybody kind of an exchange of ideas of what we've tried before, maybe what we can try again, what we've got to eliminate and try something different this time. No, we're not going to get that. You know what we're going to get? Hold on a second. Are we set up for sound on your side? Michael Knight? Yellow. Okay. We should probably just make this the default setting. This is probably so instead of the brilliant conversations on how we're all of us going to get together and solve our problems, this I think is what people have been yakking about for the last 24 hours.
And I love our culture. This is my island. I am from here, Ray. I was born and raised here, Ray. My family is here, Ray. But I am more qualified to be governor of Guam.
Which Ray is she talking about? I didn't know whether I should have been affronted by that. I think she was talking about another Ray.
If I was voting for her before, I just stopped.
Really?
Absolutely. I don't want somebody that thinks like that in charge of my business.
Interesting.
And I'm a white guy.
I suppose maybe that's the point that is trying to get drawn here in the conversation. I'm worried about that, and not necessarily your feelings. Obviously, you're entitled to your feelings, your own opinions. That's fine. But I'm worried about this. I don't know what came before it. I don't know what words led up to that. I don't know what specifically, what comment, what remark that Ray had made that she was addressing. And I don't know what came after that. I don't know where that all ended. You and I, we in this room are in a business where we would take the absolute best sound bite we can, the absolute best video piece that we can, the one that would bring the most impact to a story, and say that's what we're doing with this. This is, you know, this was our salient point. This was our takeaway. And if you were trying to paint somebody as having those ethnocentric tendencies, that would have been the soundbite to use, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Is there something before it that might have been softer than that? Is there something after that that might have been softer than that?
Well, that sounded like the crescendo right there. If there was one.
But that's not the. And I'm sitting around and go, where did this come from? Where has this soundbite been floating around? And there's another one. Now, I will note that at the end of it, there is the standard political, or what has become the standard political disclaimer, which leads me to believe that this is part of an official advertising campaign by the Bota camp. I'm assuming that because those elements are in there. The sweeping plastic logo that comes up at the end, and the I'm Ray Tenorio and I approve this message is coming up at the end. But I will say that with the understanding that it's 2018 and everybody can make really impressive video projects on their own, but just by gathering up sound bites, gathering up video pieces, and taking loops and elements from other items that are out there, other video pieces that are out there. So this is the other gizmo that's been floating around in the last I don't know, 24 hours or so.
No matter where you come from. We have Palauans here, we have Chukis here, we have Filipinos here, we have Japanese here, Chinese, Korean. We have every ethnicity that you can imagine. All of you, every person on Guam makes Guam what it is. You are Guam. We are Guam.
This is my island. I am from here, Ray. I was born and raised here, Ray. My family is here, Ray. So I am more qualified to be governor of Guam.
I'm not here to leave you. I would never quit on the people of Guam, and I never will. I am only here to serve you, just like my partner Tony and Ned. We're going to do this because we care about you.
My family and my friends need and deserve a better Guam.
And I stand for the unborn because life does begin at conception, and I will, as governor, make sure no bill will ever be signed that takes away the life of any other person for any reason at all, because life is precious, and I will stand for that.
What this bill does is it will burden the family with enormous medical bills.
I'm Ray Tenorio, and I approve this message.
Did you like that picture at the end?
That was something else, yeah.
That's the angry Lulian Guerrero.
They could have just put that there and just done all of the audio over the top of that picture.
Yeah, that's where. So what's the water cooler talk? Got this from the WhatsApp on that video with Lou telling Ray she's from Guam. Where does that put her husband, Mr. Cook? That seems to be the water cooler talk. Another good point to be made here is Mr. Cook there, and anybody that's seen us lounging on the beach every once in a while on the weekend knows we're the same kind of white guy. So I don't know. Is that what it's going to come down to on this 6:30 in the morning? Headlines coming up, but before we get to headlines, let me say good morning, everybody.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
And I see Andre Bainham's online this morning. And because of Andre now, we also get, remind me to do this later. I got to get through the names. But because of Andre, we get what I consider to be the quote of the day from Ken Perez. More on that in a second. Cousin Tommy Barcinas is there. Other Tom, Tahaji Hafarico Blancaflor. Good morning, and great to have you there. Dora Marie Fergiger and Jeff Ojeda are there. I see Andrew St. Nicholas is there with us here this morning. Ken LG, Rai St. Nicholas, Carmelian Guerrero, Jules Elmer, Lillian Cruz, Andre Leon Guerrero, and Andre's he's in full-on Biba Bota mode here. Half a day. Jane Paredo Sasai, Lillian Cruz, wishing all of us a good morning. Well, good, right back at you. Carl Fukuda, Paul Blas, Safalai Polly. Nice to see you there. John St. Nicholas. Good AM all. Another great day to be alive. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Roy Gamboa, Linda Gabriel, Mingo Rhea. I got Denise Mendiola, Carl Pangolin, and that's Carl with a K. Ismail says times have changed. It used to be you people was a prejudiced term. Now it's us people. Interesting observation. Bill and Bernie Park, John Ray Titano, Anthony Narissa's there, Merz Greeno, Vince Duenas, Anita Muffness with the Valentine's eyes, Carla Haddock, I see Levon Guerrero Meno, Renee and Pat Taitigui. It's a long list this morning. Bob Lizama reminded me it is Great Debate Day. Derek Munya Kanata is on. I got Francie Salas, Juanita Blas. Linda Gabriel says, I wish the election is over because it's getting worse in the States. Hey, tell you what, there are lots of things going wrong out there. Shootings in the synagogue. Got a shooting out in Matthews, North Carolina. I know Matthews like I know my own smell. Sorry to hear about that. Bob and Connie Bartonico, Lynn Perez, Denise Legaspi, Lady D is up and working. Watching the briefing on the caravan, or as some people are referring to them as the invaders from Honduras. Mark Cruz and Ken LG said, are you going to run one where Ray talks about having to drink toilet water? No! You're kidding. What? I'm sorry. I don't have that one. That hasn't gotten to my WhatsApp yet, Ken. 988-5874-98. You know, in fairness, I suppose I should, right? There's Chris from Bigabetta, Ted Lewis, yeah, that one. Vince Borja, Ben Torres says, I'm watching too. Valerie Maigi, Boris Hertzlet, Dion Shinohara. Denise is asking me, how about running the one where a nurse, identity hidden, is talking against Lou? I decided yesterday I wasn't going to play that one. I think that one is blatantly, cheaply racist. And you know what? If you're going to make those accusations, Evangeline, I don't know what you're hiding from. But why can't you have the camera on your face? You got a voice. Why not the camera on your face? And what is your last name? Are you worried that there's going to be other retributions from some place that Lou hasn't been associated with for almost 40 years?
Pretty
James
sure
Joyce,
Angeline's not her first name.
Yeah, that's you know what? That's a cheap kill death hit piece. And I don't need the ratings that bad. James Joyce, Jeff Pleadwell is hanging out. James Joyce from Litchville, North Dakota. James, every place is famous for something. What is Litchville famous for?
Being cold.
Half a Pat and Joey, that's nice. It's 6:34 now, and time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Daily Post this morning. The Cultural Resource Manager for the War in the Pacific National Historical Park is accusing the military of bulldozing the remnants of Magua Village on the grounds of the new Marine Corps base being built at Nictams in Dededo. David Lotz, who's also a member of the Guam Review Board for Historic Preservation, said he could find no sign of the remnants of the Chamorro Heritage Site when he paid a visit there over the weekend. On the point yesterday, Lotz acknowledged that no latte stones were there after being removed for safekeeping by the Navy some time back. He said that the programmatic agreement stated that the area was going to be destroyed, but he said as a member of the Historic Preservation Trust Board, he hoped the site could be preserved so that the latte stones could eventually be brought back and placed appropriately there. I'm very disappointed and disgusted, said Lotz. In an email response to the Guam Daily Post, Joint Region PIO Lieutenant Ian McConaughey said the Navy completed studies at the site in 2011 and concluded that it was not permanently inhabited. The Navy and Marine Corps, he said, have been diligently working with the Guam State Historic Preservation Office and the Guam Historic Preservation Trust to ensure strict compliance with the law. The Guam Department of Education thinks that a nearly 350 student drop in high school enrollment for school year last year may be attributable to a high school teacher's alleged diploma scam. A release from Guam DOE yesterday states that the drop in high school enrollment is likely related to the recent BAM high school diploma scam, which affected an estimated 300 students. Andrea Cruz, a teacher at George Washington High, was arrested October 17th following an investigation into the Believe, Achieve, Motivate private tutoring school. The investigation was launched into BAM after Guam Community College officials questioned the legitimacy of the diplomas issued by that school. The Guam Election Commission is seeking a legal review of a complaint filed by Andre Bainum of Guamanians for Fair Government, who wants Democrat Election Commissioner Ken Perez removed from all decision-making in connection with next week's general election. Bainum accuses Perez of bias against the gubernatorial write-in campaign that Bynum and others have launched for the team of Senator Frank Uggan Jr. and Alicia Limtianco. In response to Bynum's complaint, Perez said GEC commissioners have a responsibility to all voters as well as their respective parties. He said he expressed his opinions regarding the write-in campaign because he believed that he was within the purview of commissioners to remark. Any request for a suspension of a commissioner, said Perez, is the result of ulterior motives. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Okay, I will. It's 6:38. That's iConnect time. And they are the practical choice. Find out why by calling them at 888-8888 a little bit later on this morning and ask them about push-to-talk and mobile and internet plans.
As the island's executive director for the Commission on Decolonization, I've had the opportunity to work alongside local, regional, and international leaders to shape the discussion regarding Guam's political future. As a longtime youth leader, I've had the opportunity to work with future generations to build a better today and tomorrow for themselves through mentorship. Allow me the opportunity to work for you in the 35th Guam Legislature. I humbly ask for your vote this election. My name is Amanda Blah, and I approve this message.
Paid for the committee to elect Amanda Fritz on Laws for Senator.
There is no traffic at 6:38 in the morning. Yeah, it's quiet out there. They're a little bit northbound, believe it or not, in up in Jigo, just before you get up around the Simon Sanchez area. But that's about it. Not seeing anything else happening. Southbound Marine Corps Drive, Route 1, 3 clear, 8, 10, and 16 clear, 4 and 10 clear, and all the way into the downtown Agutnia area. Everything looking good. No troubles getting into Anderson Air Force Base, Navy at Sumai, and Navy Hospital. Should be a clear morning. Get on the road while you can. 20 away from 7. That's right now traffic on the point.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Morning talk that matters. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
I'm just trying to put together the litany. Has anybody put together the Great Debate bingo? We ought to do that. No, just the Great Debate Bingo. You know, I think maybe I might have time to do this between now and the end of the program, right? So it'd be like regular bingo, except instead of calling numbers, you know, 069, you know, B12, whatever. Instead of calling those numbers, what we'd do is every time somebody at the Great Debate like says something about gun grabbing, then you can fill in a square on your bingo card. Whenever somebody talks about baby killing, then that's another square on the bingo card that you can throw in there. Like pay raises, you could do that. I'm trying to think if there's, you know, and ethnocentricity. We could do that. I'm just there's a lot of topics that are out there that you know, as soon as they start talking about it, we could fill in a square. Possible, right? I might could work on that. Who's on the phone? I don't have my thing.
That's Dr. Shea.
Oh, cool, good. We got him early. A complete distraction away from the insane political conversation this morning. Very close, very dear personal friends. Marco Jamar and Lauren Santos are coming back to Guam. Good morning, Doc.
Hey, good morning, Ray. I'm calling you from Los Angeles.
You're where?
I'm in L.A. I just arrived this morning. I'm here to see my grandson.
Oh, I see. Oh, good for you. Good for you. I'm so glad that you've got that piece of positive going on in your life. I passed by the construction site the other day. They didn't need me. They said, no. In fact, Gibson, get out of here. We don't need you.
Yeah. Well, it's going up. My new clinic is going up. So it's nice.
Another piece of happy come out here. So I noticed that I was on a Facebook circular, and it had pictures of Marco and Lauren on it. Are you bringing them back out here for a dancing clinic?
Yeah. Actually, Marco contacted me, and we're going to help him sponsor the clinic. And, you know, everybody knows Marco Jamar. You know, he was famous on the national television with Grease, you know, the musical, and also So You Think You Can Dance. So he was one of the final. He was also on Glee and Ellen Show and X Factor and
all the Disney dance shows, all the Disney dance movies. Yeah,
I think he was even in some of the dances with the Grammy Awards and the People's Choice Awards too. So he's done a lot. And Lauren Santos has actually made a name for herself too. They both are from Guam. I don't know Lauren as well as I know Marco, but I think Lauren went to University of Hawaii, studied dance there, and she actually went to London to study abroad in contemporary dance school, and then she performed in Oxford, and then she actually moved to New York. So she has a freelance company, does commercial work and choreographer in New York City. So it's interesting that both of them are hooked up, and they're going to be on Guam to do a 2-day dance clinic on the 10th and the 11th at the Paradise Fitness in Agana. So it's going to be pretty good. I don't dance, so... Well, I danced at my daughter's wedding.
Right. I don't think you needed Marco for that. A lot of people, you're right, a lot of people know Marco, but for me, it's like, oh, that's the photographer at the Micronesia Mall. That's his son. So whenever I see him, I always ask about how Marco is doing and when he might be coming back to Guam. I'm sure they're delighted to know that Marco is going to be back home for a little bit. Do I need to make reservations for this? Is there something I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, you do, because we have a limit of it's going to be a 2-day dance clinic, and we're going to split it up. Marco has actually had the full program. So once you register, Marco himself will email the program to you. We're using our phone number, 648-2229, to call and register from ages 10 and above. There's no limit to above. You can be 50 if you want. You know.
Cool.
So and there's a small fee, because usually these dancers, they don't make very much. So I told Marco you can charge whatever you want. So he gets a nominal fee of $50 for 1 day or $80 for 2 days, and that goes towards the dancers for further their own careers. And so it's going to be interesting on how they put this program together, because these two are pretty involved in the dance arena in the stateside. So they made it to the national stage. So
excellent.
These are the two that you really want to learn from. So if you have any kids that are interested in dance and fitness, you know, these are the two to talk to and to be under the mentorship, actually. So once you get in touch with them, I think, you know, they'll email directly to each of the registrants, and then you're going to be pretty good. I got a feeling that Marco is very good at choreography. And that's Lauren, too. I saw some picture and some videos that Marco has sent me, and she's really actually come far along from when she was dancing in high school too. I think, you know.
Well, I think it's once you decide, it's like anything else, right, Doc? Once you decide that this is what you want to do, you got the passion for it, you immerse yourself in it, and I think if you work hard at it, then I think good things will come to you. And it's nice that they're bringing some of those good things back for the community here.
Yeah, and you know, Lauren actually has done a lot of the company work with. She appeared in Netflix originals, like the Get Down, the Latin AMAs, and she also was on the Tonight Show with Stephen Colbert and some other Latin music videos. So, you know, she's going to be somebody that's going to up and coming. So they're going to be here on Guam for 2 days for the dance clinic. So this is an opportunity to treasure the moment. You know, at any rate, you know, at least you're going to get a contact. He's going to email you with a program. So, you know, if you travel to the States and see how you got on the shows and making contact, the key is networking. You know, like sometimes it's not, you know, it's the people you know that's important in this kind of, you know, this kind of an arena, right? So.
Well, in entertainment, I don't know anything about entertainment. I just, back in the old days, I just called Dan Bradley and said, we want a concert, and can bring somebody out. Hey, a couple of quick questions about Super Typhoon U2 and any relief. I know when the winds were still kind of kicking around up there, you sort of made the offer, like if need be, you know, you'd like lead a delegation of doctors up there to help provide some kind of medical relief up in Saipan.
Yeah, in fact, we are. The Minister of Health has officially contacted us and has requested for assistance. So I placed Dr. Hoa Nguyen in charge, and he's going to be leading a team of family practice, pediatrics, and general practitioners down to Saipan in probably a week from today. So I may be back there already, but initially I think they don't need an OBGYN, so I'm going to stay back. But they're going to do the first phase, and it will probably do a couple of waves to Saipan. So they're going to be going down there, and they're probably going to stay there for not just a few days. I think they'll stay there for a whole week.
Yeah.
So we're going to see how that turns out. And when they leave, we'll let you know. And but we hope that Saipan recovers quickly. But as you know, Saipan also have their own doctors and, you know, their own provider staff there. So we don't want to overstep our boundaries as well. So
well, then you go to Tinian. I think they've got like EMTs in Tinian. The really bad stuff gets put on an airplane or you know, sent by boat to Saipan. But I remember I was in Tinian once, and a woman that was in the party that we were with fell down and actually broke her wrist. And they didn't have anybody there that could set it, and they didn't have anybody there that could legally dispense any painkillers. That poor woman.
Yeah, interesting. I've never been to Tinian, but isn't Tinian one of the atomic bombs that came from the B-52 that came from there, right?
The Enola Gay took off from Northfield, yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. But I'm sure that the FEMA has already got some DMAT teams already on the ground, and the boots are already on the ground over in then the guards and the military is always involved in that. So we always wait for them to call, because you know that licensing is always an issue. We can't just go down there and practice medicine, because we need a waiver from the government saying, hey, okay, this is a natural disaster. Just like when we went to the Philippines, we can't just come on in and practice medicine. You know, who do we think we are, right? So we always want to make sure that we respect the governmental policies and making sure that we're invited and that we're welcomed. We don't want to go there unwelcomed and practice medicine, overstep our boundaries. Yep.
10 away from the top of the hour, and it wouldn't be a fun conversation with you if I didn't delve into the world of politics. So if indulge me this one question, and I want you to help the next governor of Guam. I want you, and it doesn't matter who it is. In my mind, it makes no difference who it is at this point. Ray Tenorio or Lilian Guerrero or by some miracle Frank Uggan, but somebody's going to be the next governor of Guam. Who would you like to see them place at the head of Guam Memorial Hospital and the Department of Public Health and Social Services?
You're talking about the person in charge of?
Yeah. Who would you make? Who would you make the director of public health, and who would you make the director of Guam Memorial Hospital?
Well, I think the governor. Him or her.
No, you got to. No, you got to. You can't. You got to be the governor. That's one of the things that they delegate from out from under those. So who would? You know, there's somebody in the medical community. Peter John's been doing the job by what, the last 4, 8, 10, 15 years. Is whose turn is it now?
Well, you know, I don't know if I know any good person to do it. You know, I think initially, what the first governor that comes in, what they need to do within the first 100 days, they just need to make sure they renovate maternal and fetal health. And that's overdue. And I asked Ray Tenorio and Governor Calvo to do it. They haven't done it. And they've been in there for 3 to 4 years. So if they get elected, I hope they, they do it within the first 100 days. If Lou Leongoro gets elected, she already said she's going to do it. Do it within the first 100 days. Don't wait another 4 years, because that's 8 years gone by. And the heartbeat of the hospital is maternal fetal health. That's what the driving force behind GMH. We all know that. I mean, but if you ask me who's the person to actually take over GMH as the CEO, I would say follow Carl Gutierrez, because Carl Gutierrez, when he came in, he took over as a CEO. So whoever is the governor, take over as CEO. Make it work the first 100 days. Okay?
Yeah. So get in there, hands on. Everything else is going to be all right. I just need to make sure we get Guam Memorial Hospital moving in the right direction. Tello Taitigui, when I interviewed her the other day at the 101 with the candidates, brought up an interesting thing that she wanted to do, which is to build a new hospital on Guam.
Yeah, well, that's what the Republicans want to do. And that's what Governor Calvo has said he wanted to do, and that's what Tenorio they wanted to do. Certainly, that's a very aspiring cause, but you already got a new hospital that's built at GRMC. So GMH is actually, the foundation itself is very solid. So rather than say, hey, I'm going to build a brand new hospital and take another 5, 6, 7 years, my thought is that you're still going to have to renovate anyway, regardless of what you do. So, we already got a brand new ICU. We got a brand new emergency room at GMH. And then you have a footprint already built. Spend $1 million in cash paid out for the maternal fetal child health. I don't know if building a brand new hospital is going to really help this particular situation. So I say that both hospitals get together and share the services that's not duplicated. And I think Mike Cruz is already beginning to listen. A 3-year it's been 3 years late, but they're finding out that it's not financially viable for them for maternal fetal health. But that hospital is going to continue to have challenges with finances, because 90% of the local doctors actually don't go to that hospital. So we're not admitting our patients there. And simply, for me, it's because of distance. It's just so far away, because it takes me 19 minutes to get to that hospital, and I drove it myself. Baby comes anytime, so I need to be able to respond within 5 to 8 minutes. And so those are the things that we have to consider. Majority of the doctors live in Tamuning within 5 to 10 minutes probably from GMH. So that's a challenge there. So I think for them to provide specialty services, I think they should have done that from the very beginning. And I think they're beginning to try to do that. Now, GMH will always stand there to provide the essential services that we need. And that's maternal fetal child health as the very first thing that we do.
All right. Well, I think I appreciate the answer, but if you come up with a name, while you're driving around here and going visiting, what's the baby's name? Maui.
Maui. Yeah.
So you come up with something, and maybe there's somebody out there that it's not at the top of your head, but as you ponder it, you go, yeah, that guy would be awesome at GMH. Think about that. I got to run. I'll talk to you pretty soon, Doc.
Yeah, I was scared that you were saying, hey, throw my name in the hat because I can run the hospital. But I think if I did that, I don't think I'm not very easily influenced. For one, I would tell you that I would do what I think needs to be done. And sometimes as a government-run hospital, politics always come into play, no matter who takes
over. Sure. Well, I mean, it's the government of Guam Hospital. There's going to be politics. Just got to figure out, who's got the brain power to make the politics work for everybody, patients included. Hey, listen, I got to run. I got 5 more minutes left and a little bit more political gossip to chew on.
Anytime, Ray. You can call me anytime.
All right, Doc. I appreciate it. It's 6:55. Ray Gibson Show here at 93.3 The Point. Great to have you all online. I got news coming up from Fox News, and then we'll take a look at what happened on the markets. And it's not good news on what happened in the markets. Everybody is in the red here this morning as I look over at the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones Industrial Averages. And this is one of those days. And again, I'll make the point, the hardier investors are going to be the guys that run to the market on days like today as opposed to running away from the market and going out and pulling some stocks just because it went back a few points, a few percentage points. Doris Flores Brooks on the line. Good morning, Doris, Congresswoman.
Good morning.
Is it too early to call you that, Congresswoman?
Well, God willing, and the people of Guam decide that. I hopefully by next Tuesday night we'll know.
Finally. Finally, I think there's a lot of people. I think there's a certain amount of political fatigue that is beginning to affect some people and maybe the way they're thinking. You sent off a letter.
This is a marathon, Ray, and I'm a marathoner, and this is where the fatigue comes in. But you gotta get. It's that last half mile, like at the Honolulu Marathon, where it seems forever and ever.
Yeah, that's generally the way it works here. It's a 26.2-mile slog that you've got to make, and you can actually punch through the 26.2 miles all right, but it's that last 0.2 that will take your breath away. Hey, listen, I noticed yesterday you were responding to some concerns that had been expressed by David Lotz over what happened to the MAGA heritage site up at where Nick Tams is.
Yes, and Dave even expressed to me some other areas like in Naval Magazine. There's a lot of Lottie sites and the possibility of declaring that a national monument. So those are other things that we're looking to, and hopefully after next week, Wednesday, I'll be in a position, again, with the votes of the people of Guam to take more action on those areas for the preservation of our natural resources, our historic sites.
Well, I thought you were a little aggressive, and I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. I just looked at it as a pretty aggressive move here, referring to a lawsuit that you had placed against the Nico Hotel many years ago to ensure that they treated the cultural remains and the artifacts with respect and dignity.
Yes, and that park is still there today. Because of the action I took, and hopefully I don't have to take action. That maybe there are areas where those relics have been moved to a place, temporarily, and that will be reinterred in a nice area of so that we, the people of Guam, can go there.
It certainly sounded like that was the plan as the military understood it. But it seems to me, I'm wondering if there's just a great degree of miscommunication between them and Dave Lotz. I thought there was a lot of clarity given in the military's response, including the fact that the site that they're referring to had already been moved as a result of post-World War II activities. I mean, that happened back in the 1950s.
Well, again, I have not seen it. I saw the concern that Dave had posted on his Facebook, and that's why I wrote to ensure that, hey, let's make sure that whatever agreements we do have are taken into account, and the areas, the areas that have been supposedly set aside will continue to be set aside.
Yeah, I think that's.
So I haven't a chance to really see it and bring the people from historic preservation and all of that to see, is this the area? Is this the area? And I think that's what really needs to be done. And maybe there's been some miscommunication. I don't know. But again, this is more to bring the issue to their attention.
Sure. And certainly the threat of a possible lawsuit would get my attention, and I'd start working on it and making sure that the Lusong and the Lati elements that were in that spot have in fact been picked up and brought to some place where they could be safely preserved until such time as in future discussions that they allude to, then we can all figure out what's going to happen. Maybe something just like what you see over at Nico Hotel.
Correct.
All right.
And that's all we're looking for. We want the military buildup to work for everyone, but it also needs to take into account cultural preservation, as outlined in the EIS.
Absolutely. 7 o'clock in the morning, Doris. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Good luck. Are you going to the great debate tonight?
Most likely.
Most likely. Whose side are you going to sit on? Never mind. Don't have time for the answer. I got the news coming up. Email me, would you? 6:59 and change.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it's KUSG. Hug on you. That's us, 93.3 The Point. Never did get around to that quote of the day by Ken Paris. We'll do that in the next hour. Stick around, Brown.
Over 5
5,000 U.S. troops heading for the southern border. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. They'll play a supporting role for Border Patrol as thousands of migrants head north from Central America.
We know border security is national security, and the U.S. military will advance CBP's capability to harden the border.
The head of U.S. Northern Command, General Terrence O'Shaughnessy, announcing Operation Faithful Patriot. Customs and Border Patrol Commissioner Kevin McAleenan denies it's a political move a week before the midterms.
What we saw when this group crossed the Honduras-Guatemala borders, they did it very forcefully. They pushed past the Guatemalan security forces. Even more risky was on the Guatemala-Mexico border, where it was a combination of near rioting on the bridge and then crossing illegally.
Mexico is offering some protections for asylum seekers now. The caravan of migrants still weeks away from the U.S. border. As a Pittsburgh community mourns, the accused gunman in Saturday's synagogue massacre makes his first court appearance. Fox's Gernal Scott has this live.
Lisa, Robert Bowers is being held without bond for the deaths at the Tree of Life Synagogue Saturday. He faces 29 federal counts, which were formally read in a brief hearing today. He faces state counts as well. U.S. Attorney Scott Brady says Bowers is back in court Thursday, where there will be evidence
demonstrating that Robert Bowers murdered 11 people who were exercising their religious beliefs, and that he shot or injured 6 others, including 4 of whom were police officers responding to the shooting.
The first funeral for brothers Cecil and David Rosenthal is set for tomorrow, Lisa.
Thanks, Colonel. Meantime, also making his first court appearance in Miami, the man accused of sending at least 14 mail bombs. He's due back in court Friday. Meantime, another package intercepted today in Atlanta is under investigation. This is Fox News.
There's a reason every day a Guam homeowner is getting a solar system installed by Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's because MRE is the most trusted name in solar. With more solar energy solutions than any other solar company on island, homeowners have a choice to go solar for zero money down or take the path to ownership. Whichever way, it keeps our skies blue and your pockets green. And with the most experienced solar technicians and an energy production guarantee, there are no worries. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
The crash of a passenger jet off the coast of Indonesia earlier today remains under investigation. All 189 passengers and crew presumed dead.
The Boeing 737, owned by the low-cost airline Lion Air, went down after taking off from the capital Jakarta. Flight JT610 was headed for the western city of Pangkal Pinang. Rescuers have recovered some bodies and personal items, including baby shoes. There is no sign of survivors. The cause of the crash, which involved a plane that had been in operation just since August, remains unclear.
Fox's Benjamin Hall, the pilot, did ask to return to Jakarta minutes before the crash, but there's no word yet on what issue prompted that request. A former Olympic gymnast and her sister, who also competed on the U.S. national team, become the latest to file lawsuits against USA Gymnastics, claiming the organization failed to prevent sexual abuse by imprisoned former sports doctor Larry Nassar. Tasha and Jordan Schweikert also naming Nassar and the U.S. Olympic Committee. A big celebration being planned for the World Series champions.
The city of Boston announcing a victory parade for the Red Sox on Wednesday morning, a rolling rally from Fenway Park towards Boston Common with hundreds of thousands expected to line the parade route for the Sox' 9th World Series win in franchise history. Boston Mayor Marty Walsh encouraging people to behave properly during the festivities.
As far as safety goes, I'm encouraging people, don't do anything on the streets of Boston on Wednesday morning that you wouldn't do in front of your own house. Be respectful of the city.
Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
Another wild ride on Wall Street. The Dow down 245 points after swinging about 900 points between positive and negative during the session. The Nasdaq down 116, but finishing back over 7K after dipping under it. Renewed concern about ongoing trade disputes, especially with China, getting much of the blame. Lisa Brady, and this is Fox News.
If we want change to happen, we need to show Washington that our issues matter to the American people. Let's take our issues into the halls of Washington and into the American heartland. Powerful change comes from the grassroots up. We have done this successfully as your senator and are ready to bring our issues to the American people as your congressman. I humbly ask for your vote. I'm Michael F. Houston-Nicholas, and I approve this message.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sports Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sports Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
For more than 40 years, we've earned your trust, caring for our island's health. Quality care and access to health solutions you deserve. Take care, our island, your health plan. Take care, health solutions that you deserve. Take care, peace of mind to comfort you. Take care, take care, take care.
Docomo Pacific is making the Better Together bundle even better. 2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Governor Ralph Torres of the CNMI has decided to postpone the November 6th general election in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Torres telling the Guam Daily Post yesterday that he consulted with Commonwealth Attorney General Edward Manabusan yesterday afternoon before making the decision, which he announced last night. Under Commonwealth law, the governor is authorized to postpone an election, but in no event shall the postponement exceed 30 days, according to the statement from the governor's office. The election will be postponed by only 1 week until November 13th. Early voting, however, will begin next Tuesday on Election Day, November 6th. Torres said he suspended his election campaign, telling the Post, "Nothing is more important than recovery and the lives of people and their well-being." Torres is a Republican who served as lieutenant governor under Governor Eloy Enos. He became the 10th governor of the CNMI in December of 2015. Following Enos's death, Torres is competing against Democrat Juan Babauta, who served as governor of the CNMI from 2002 to 2006. The latest stir on the campaign front is a video of remarks made by Democratic gubernatorial nominee Lou Leon Guerrero at a recent campaign rally. They've been seized on by her Republican rival Ray Tenorio. In the video, Leon Guerrero is heard to say, "This is my island. I am from here, Ray. I was born and raised here, Ray. My family is here, Ray, and I am more qualified to be governor of Guam," she said. In response, Tenorio issued a statement yesterday calling the remarks appalling and an insult to the Filipino, Chinese, Korean, and Micronesian communities that also call Guam home. The two candidates for governor face off again tonight in the great debate at the University of Guam Fieldhouse. We'll have more news after this.
At Guam Regional Medical City, it is our mission to become the island's premier choice for specialty care, like cardiology, pulmonology, neurosciences, orthopedics, oncology services, and more. We aim to protect our island from heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and diabetic complications. But should you suffer from such diseases, we're ready with world-class options, both inpatient and outpatient. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
11 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. The cultural resource manager for the War in the Pacific National Historic Park is accusing the military of bulldozing the remnants of Magua Village on the grounds of the new Marine Corps base being built at Nick Tams in Dededo. David Lotz, who's also a member of the Guam Board for Historic Preservation, said he could find no sign of the remnants of the Chamorro Heritage Site when he paid a visit on Sunday. On The Point yesterday morning, Lotz acknowledged that no latte stones were there after being removed for safekeeping by the Navy back in the 50s, and he said that the programmatic agreement stated that the area was supposed to be destroyed. But he said as a member of the Historic Preservation Board, he hoped the site could be preserved so that the latte stones could eventually be brought back and placed appropriately. Lotz said he's very disappointed and disgusted at what has occurred. However, in an email response to the Guam Daily Post, Joint Region PIO Lieutenant Ian McConaughey said the Navy completed studies at the site in 2011 and concluded that the site was not permanently inhabited. The Navy and Marine Corps have been diligently working with the Guam State Historic Preservation Office and the Guam Historic Preservation Trust, he said, to ensure strict compliance with the law. Guam Election Commission is seeking a legal review of a complaint filed by Andre Bainum of Guamanians for Fair Government. Bainum wants Democrat Election Commissioner Ken Perez removed from all decision-making in connection with next week's general election. He accuses Perez of bias against the gubernatorial write-in campaign that he co-launched for the Ugan Limtiaco team. In response to the complaint, Perez said GEC commissioners have a responsibility to all voters, and he expressed his opinions regarding the write-in campaign because he believed that that's within his purview. Any request for a suspension of a commissioner, said Perez, is the result of ulterior motives. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at weather.
And I like the Daily Post coverage of the Bainum versus Ken deal over at the Guam Election Commission because it has what I consider to be the quote of the day, and I'll share that with the listeners by and by here. It's 7:13. Is there weather today? Yeah, as a matter of fact, there is going to be. Hot is the way the guys over at the Weather Service say. Partly cloudy skies with isolated showers. East winds up to about 15 miles an hour, decreasing tonight. Highs near 90 degrees, and the max afternoon heat index is what's supposed to be?
105.
Get out of here with that noise.
A little bit warm.
That's just ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, what happens is this is our typically our hottest time of the year to go along with around in May.
Mm-hmm.
And it corresponds with the fact it was just before and just after the not the solstice but the equinoxes, the autumnal and the vernal equinoxes.
Virginal.
Yeah,
virginal
nice.
equinox.
Nice. But yeah, so and it just has to do with us getting peak sunshine for a period of time, and then things are starting to wane down. It should start cooling off, and good news actually is a hint of things to come. Reading the Weather Service forecast discussion yesterday, and they say our first shear line or cold front could be down through here by the middle of next month.
See, now I don't have a problem with that because it's not necessarily the cold that it brings; it's the drier air from the front. Yeah, that's what makes all the difference. You sit around here in this time of year, once we start getting that cold front weather, and you will swear you need a jacket.
Oh, absolutely. That comes to that's when
75 degrees at that time of year is different than 75 degrees any other time.
Yes, most definitely.
Because it's drier air. 7:14. That's news and weather, and we got sports coming up later in the program. Got one Monday night game, right?
That's right. We sure do.
We'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. All right, news and weather together here on The Point.
What are the benefits of switching to the handset payment option with GTA? For starters, you can customize a plan that matches your budget and lowers your monthly payment. HPO lets you upgrade to the latest phones whenever you want. No more waiting for a contract to end to get that slimmer, faster smartphone. Because with HPO, there are no contracts. HPO lets you design a phone plan that suits you. So join the thousands who've already switched to HPO, the most customizable phone plan on island. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
Portions of the program brought to you by my friends over at Subway. You know what they've got at Subway now? It's this Chipotle cheese steak that I know people that are absolutely raving about this. It's shaved steak, and then they put this Chipotle sauce on it, and the flavor is just going to be so intense. You bite into the thing, and then you will know that you've got some Chipotle in there. Have it on your favorite bread. Have it in a wrap. Try it today at Subway.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
I think I understand all the hand signals coming in. This means that do these guys first. First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes. Portions of the program also brought to you by Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. And somebody asking me on the Facebook this morning, or on the WhatsApp, is the people over? Is that really their tagline? The first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. And
is known.
I haven't gotten a cease and desist letter from their lawyers yet. So yeah, I guess that'll work. American Water Tech, smarter water, better water. Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. And who else am I thinking about here today? I think I got everybody right. Oh, American President Lines. They're shipping the future.
Ray Gibson brings you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Morning talk that matters.
Is it time to start taking a look at what happened on the market? Sadness in the market today. There's all kinds of issues that are floating around that I'd have to look and double check and make sure that they're actually surrounding some kind of businessy thing, because the markets go up and down for a lot of different reasons, and I haven't yet had the time to investigate what exactly went on in the markets today. But I've said many times, the trick is hold your breath for just a little bit longer. Weather these storms. I mean, the lady on Fox News was talking about 500-point dip in the Dow here at one point today. Well, they finally closed 245 points down. That's 24,442. But baby, it's still 24,442. That's 8%, barely 8% of a loss for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So a lot of the smart guys are looking at the markets, going, "Where's the bargains?" And they're seeing it in Akamai, Cognacs, and a few more. NASDAQ at 7,050. They're off by 116 points. This one here is a little bit tricky. Only because they're looking at it getting close to a benchmark number. 7,000 is a benchmark number. We generally like the NASDAQ to be in the plus region. S&P 500 at 2641. They're off by 17 points. Something ridiculously small like that. FTSE is up. The Nikkei is down. Hang Seng is up. Shanghai is down. The DAX is going to be closing up. Haven't looked at Tapas just yet, but West Texas crude trading at $66.96. And if you give me 1 second, where did... Phone. There it is. Sorry. It's one of the, yeah, that's absolutely right. Nate, I'm looking at Nietzsche's comment online right now, and she says it's time to buy more stock. Absolutely. To take a look at your wish list, or better yet, take a look at stocks that you absolutely love, because you just know that they're going to continue to perform, right? Your GE's, Apple's, right? There will always be a McDonald's. But who was I looking at? You know, we do a lot of work with HD radio here, and more in the coming weeks. And so there's a couple of companies, because I think this is kind of on the grow here. There's a lot more cars that have the HD radios installed in them, and all of that. So there's a lot of interesting technology companies that are working with HD technology, chip makers and board guys and stuff. So I'm looking for some of these guys because they're small, but they're growing in a place in the industry where I think there's going to be continual growth. Because if it's in the car, then it will be in the movie theaters, then it will be in phones and handsets and stuff like that. Just, you know, a couple of thoughts. So that's what you do. You start looking around for some stocks, bonds, et cetera, that you think might be undervalued today because of the dip in the market, and buy whole bunches of them. 20 after 7 o'clock in the morning, and hold on, I distracted myself. I was looking for Tapis crude here. I know it. It's there. Just got to scooch down and take a look and see what the number is eventually going to end up being for Tapis. That, of course, is the kind of oil that turns into the gasoline that goes into the cars that you and I are buying. But Montana, not Montana, Malaysia is what I'm looking at. Hey! $81.13. Yesterday was trading at $79.85, so it looked like that one there has gone up. High water mark for the year is up around $90. So I think we got it, and that's about when we saw that last increase in the price of gasoline here on Guam. So we're still a few dollars lower than that. 7:21 in the morning. So that's what happened on the market. And coming up, no, we got to do it now. Jerry Roberts. Oh, it's Double Jerry Day. Double Jerry Day. Today he is on the air on 93.3, and he is also in the Gizmo, in the Daily Post, in the editorial section, in the Guam Daily Post. You will find him there, and it is a tribute piece that he did for my uncle Al Israel, remembering lessons from Al Israel. It was a great piece when he did it on the radio. Great to read it. So read it in the work zone in today's Guam Daily Post.
Could you turn off all your devices for a week? I'm Jerry Roberts, and let's find out about a guy who did exactly that today on The Extra Point. Most of us are prisoners of our phones. They ring or buzz, we jump. FOMO, F-O-M-O, the fear of missing out has taken over our lives. So we're often intrigued by stories of people who have decided to disconnect. How about for a day? No problem? A weekend? You're good with that? How about for a solid week? I just caught a story of a guy, let's call him George, who makes his living on the internet. He's connected from the moment his eyes open in the morning to the time they close at night. That's 16, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. He's available on his social channels almost all the time. After a recent minor surgery, his doctor advised George to rest, that he could do some work, but should cut back on social media commitments. Instead, George decided to do something extreme. He decided to be non-accessible for 7 days. He would divorce himself from all devices. He disconnected his internet and switched off his phone. No social media, no emails, no texting, no radio, no TV, no newspaper, no Netflix, no books, no nothing. He consumed no information. George took walks, played with the dog, talked to people on the street, made his meals from scratch, dusted off his guitar and harmonica for the first time in years, visited his parents, did the landscaping in their backyard that he'd promised 3 years ago, and wrote overdue letters to friends. An actual letter, ink on paper. Then he did something he hadn't done for over 20 years. He bought postage stamps and mailed the letters. So after the week, what conclusions did George reach? He said this. 1, it allowed him to think clearly and deeply. 2, that constantly checking emails and social media or responding to notifications comes at great cost. Lower productivity. That just being busy doesn't mean you're producing any real value. We might look busy and feel busy, but often we're just spinning our wheels. Number 4, and this one should get your attention, that distractions waste far more time than we think, and little by little, we lose our ability to focus. I'm going to repeat that. We lose our ability to focus. And George enjoyed more benefits in his week off from being connected. 5, he didn't feel bored like he usually did when he felt there was nothing going on. And 6, he didn't need his phone next to him all the time. He could actually stand in a grocery line without pulling it out. He was rested, had incredible energy, felt he had accomplished a ton of things on his sabbatical from devices, and said his creativity had been renewed. Okay, could you do this on your next vacation? I got to tell you, I'm thinking about it. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3 in the always connected Ray Gibson Show, I'm Jerry Roberts.
I don't know. I read the script on that yesterday, and I thought, I don't think I can do it. Part of it is the job, and he tells a story about a guy named George, who is obviously, you know, his work kept him connected to the internet as well. But look, if I was not connected via the social channels that I love, my Facebook, my YouTubes, my WhatsApp in particular, I would not have the ability to get audio like this and then play it for you on the actual radio. We would miss opportunities to hear. You got to turn it up. Give me some noise here, buddy.
Love our culture. This is my island. I am from here, Ray. I was born and raised here, Ray. My family is here, Ray. So I am more qualified to be governor of Guam.
Get up, it's Jesus Day.
No, they get up. It's Jesus Day. Not necessarily connected to that. I don't. You know, there's people cheering off in the background over at her place. That was obviously some red meat over at whatever Lou rally that happened to be. 7:26 in the morning. I wonder where things are going to be going next. But getting back to the whole thing, if I was disconnected in the last 24 hours, I would have missed that video floating around. And then there's a companion piece, a little bit longer, with Ray Tenorio and you know, using bits and pieces of her clips, and then responses from his rallies and things like that. So that is all interesting. And somebody had sent me another video to look at. And where's the thing? Hold on a second. I'm thinking about playing. But here's the thing. Can I just let me play the beginning of it, and then I'll tell you why I didn't listen any further. Queuing, buffering.
I want to tell you a story about a little boy. He was born in 1965.
Okay, that's enough. That's all I can handle. Just that's it right there. Little story, a boy, 1965, and the music playing off in the background. Exactly. I was born naked in 1965. So. And then I looked at the length of it, 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Okay, so this is what I'm one of those guys. My timelines have condensed significantly over the years, and I don't know if it's some new kind of ADHD or something that people have got to figure out. That it meant more and more people are going to have this in 2018, simply because there's just so much. There is so much information to be gleaned. If I'm watching that for 7 minutes and 40 seconds, that's 6 minutes. And now let's say 7 minutes and 35 seconds that I won't be able to be checking my Facebook or my other WhatsApp accounts.
See, if that's what's required to run for office here, I can never run for office, because my video would be, I was born, haven't died yet.
Yep.
Vote for me.
There,
Thank
the
you.
end. Thank you so much. 7:28 in the morning. So like I said, is there a Cliff Notes version of that? Can we just get to the parts that are really, really interesting in there? I appreciate the life story, but I got too much else going on in my life. See, and there another distraction. Another distraction from true, meaningful talk. There is a story, Guam Election Commission and Andre Bainham. And it looks like they're going to actually spend a little bit of time talking about Andre's concerns with regard to Ken Perez and some of the remarks that Ken has made that would seem to be related to how he might feel as a member of the Election Commission, although he wasn't speaking from the Election Commission perch, I think, at the time when he conducted those interviews with you.
No, he was. You know.
He was? Okay. Yeah. But he's also the Democratic among the Democrat reps on the Election Commission. Would he naturally have a bias towards the party and what the party wants to do, i.e., Lou, not Frank?
Yeah, well, he's the Democratic rep. That's why he's on the...
Yeah. And so Andre's got some problems with it, and I guess they're going to be taking a look at that. So it gives rise, the story and the conversation further with Ken gives rise to what I consider to be the quote of the day. And here it is. The quote of the day is, "I'm pissed. I really am. And I'm too old to be pissed," Ken Perez said. That's genius. That needs to be on coffee cups, and that needs to be, you know what? Forget about Lou. Forget about Ray. Forget about Frank. I want Kin to be the governor of Guam. And I know some of you are saying, how do you know he's not already the power behind the scenes, the man that's pulling all of the different strings that we've got here? 7:30 in the morning, 888-825-5874. Right now, time for headlines from the Guam Daily. Is it? No. I got to take a break. Okay, let me take the break and then headlines with Kevin from the Daily Post.
The Calvo Tenora administration built almost 3,000 affordable homes. Through our Guma 2000 plan, Tenorio Ada will ensure that 2,000 first-time home buyers will have access to 3-bedroom, typhoon-resistant houses with a mortgage of around $800 a month. Calvo Tenorio erected the Guam Museum, the most comprehensive cultural facility on island. Tenorio Ada will advocate for and support more institutions that promote the Chamorro language, customs, and history. As a former member of the U.S. Army, I have a great appreciation for Guam's military veterans. We fought bravely for a nation whose president we can't vote for. This is a travesty that Ray and I will fight to fix. From the promotion of our culture to the protection of our natural resources, from providing housing to providing for the needs of our veterans, Ray and I will improve the quality of life for all Guameans.
I'm Ray Tenorio, and I approve this message.
On November 6th, vote Tenorio Ada.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sport Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sport Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
Wait, what? Built the Guam Museum, and that's what Neats is saying this morning on the program. Clinton James there, Pam Duvall, Brad Hewitt chiming in. Tommy Barcina says, will voters that do not like this campaign bickering give Frank Jr. their vote? Inquiring minds want to know. Cousin Tommy, you know, here's the problem, Tomas, is we have to wait and see. That's the suck part. That's the part that I'm gonna hate. Just we're in that time, 7 days out, 6 and a wake up, right? For the Super Tuesday, the actual election day, and then even then it'll be 8 o'clock at night, and then they'll close the polls, and then we have to count up all of the ballots and see who has got the most votes, whether we've got a majority of the votes that are going to be counted. I mean, it'd be like just another. It's a week and a day now between where we are and how well Frank does with this write-in runoff campaign that he's running. It will take us this much time to see if all of the new identity politics that we're all of a sudden as voters confronted with, as opposed to answers on issues, how effective those particular tactics were. That's the part that I'm going to hate. 7:33 in the morning, 888-8255 is the phone number. As I said, 988-5874. Got interesting things that you want to send, memes, funny videos, pictures of children in the aftermath of a storm? 988-5874. Headlines now from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. A few quick online searches and a phone call to verify former table tennis Olympian Michael Hyatt's background would have given the Guam Table Tennis Federation pause before they hired him. However, the Federation claims it didn't find out about Hyatt's past until the Guam Daily Post asked for comment. An arrest warrant has been issued in California for Hyatt, who is alleged to have committed welfare fraud. 2 women claim they were financially conned by him, and he's been suspended by the USA Table Tennis Federation for alleged sexual misconduct. In a prepared statement issued to the Guam Daily Post on Sunday, the Guam Table Tennis Federation said they welcomed Hyatt's enthusiasm to the sport of table tennis. The statement goes on to say that after 10 years of executing their development plan, it was heartwarming for us to know that an Olympian saw our efforts and wanted to use his expertise to help us achieve our goals. The Federation added towards the latter part of the statement that it has now cut ties with Hyatt, and he is no longer allowed to represent the Federation or use its logo until after he clears his name. The Guam Department of Education thinks that a nearly 350 student drop in high school enrollment for the last school year may be attributable to a high school teacher's alleged diploma scam. A release from Guam DOE released yesterday states that the drop in high school enrollment is likely related to the recent BAM high school diploma scam, which affected an estimated 300 students. Andrea Cruz, a teacher at George Washington High, was arrested October 17th following an investigation into the Believe, Achieve, Motivate private tutoring school. The investigation was launched into BAM after Guam Community College officials questioned the legitimacy of the diplomas issued by that school. Governor Eddie Calvo yesterday announcing he has ordered the release of funds for the payment of the annual cost of living allowance for GovGuam retirees. The funds have been remitted to the retirement fund. $13.9 million from the general fund was sent to the GovGuam retirement fund on Friday. Another $2.5 million from the autonomous agencies was sent yesterday. In a statement announcing the release, the governor said, with the efficient management of our cash resources, we've been able to ensure that our retirees have been able to get their cost of living allowance each year of the Calvo Tenorio administration. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Yeah, apparently I don't know if this might or might not be news, but I'm getting word from some friends there's some new donut flavors at Crown Bakery.
Whoa, a lead.
Strong lead, yes. You know, it's on the way to the UOG Fieldhouse where the great debate is going to be. Sure. 7:36 in the morning, and that's headlines. 7:36 is iConnect time. 888-8888 is their telephone number. Give them a call later on and find out, if you will, how come they are the practical choice. And they'll tell you. They're very proud of it. They got some new people in the front, too. They're proud to tell you the story of the practical choice. Great rates on things that you need, like internet and mobile, and even push-to-talk, which will change the way your company does business.
I didn't plan to be a single mom. No one does. But here I am, mid-30s, divorced with 3 kids, just trying to make things work. With the rising cost of living on Guam, it gets harder for working families like mine to get by. I've heard some politicians say that the economy is good, but rent is higher, health insurance is too expensive, and our incomes have stayed the same. It's clear that the change they're talking about hasn't been for us, and we deserve better. I'm just so tired of all the empty promises. It's time to fight for a Guam that working families can afford. That's why I'm voting for Lulian Guerrero. Lou is a successful businesswoman who doesn't just talk about creating jobs. She doesn't just talk about housing. She's made it possible for people just like me to buy their first home. So when she says she's going to work to make Guam better, I believe her and I trust her. I'm voting for Lou, and I ask all of you who are tired of the way things have been to vote for her too.
I'm Leon Guerrero, and I approve this ad.
Paid for by the committee to elect Leon Guerrero Tenorio. Tony Sanford, treasurer.
I'm going to tell you a story about a little boy. Once upon this week, that's where we are in the campaigns. We're at the Once Upon a Time section in the campaigns. Who am I supposed to be at? Wendy's, right? Do I get to? I was waiting to do this earlier this morning. If you come to the radio station and you allow me to breathe directly into your nose, right? You know what you're gonna. What's that face? What you making a face for there, Knight? If this is what you would get. You would get the essence of a salad. Their spicy Caesar salad with the crispy, spicy chicken on top of it. But you would also get the burger, the new one, the Sawsome Sauce burger. I had the craving last night. I knew I was going to get a salad. Let me just distract myself for a second. I'm very upset. Can I just say this? Because a store that I thought I was going to be able to buy some stuff from last night was closed by the time I got there. And it wasn't even 8 o'clock. Which is the thing. Friend of mine, I don't often take energy drinks every morning. And so the energy drink I drink is a thing called Extra Joss. And what it's basically Red Bull in packet form. You're supposed to drink it with like 16 ounces of water, and you pour the stuff in there, and it effervesces like fizzy sticks. You remember the thing that we used to drink when we were little kids? Looked like Alka-Seltzer, except it had sugar and grape flavor in it.
Right.
Anyways, really good. So anyways, I get this stuff, and usually my friends will bring it from the Philippines. A buddy of mine, Lynn, says, hey, they've got some at this store up in Denado. So I'm driving around yesterday, and I thought, you know what? It's still early. Before I go home, before I go to dinner, I'm going to go to this store and get some, as much Extra Joss as they'll sell me.
Right.
And they were closed.
Uh-oh.
Huh? Huh?
It might
and I'm
have been
looking at
to
my
your-
watch. It's not even 8 o'clock, and they're closed.
It might have been to your advantage. You know, energy drinks cause impotence.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying the studies show.
But anyway, so I like it. So, but the way I drink it's because you're supposed to. I'm totally distracted now. The way you're supposed to drink is you pour it in at 16 ounces. So what I like to do is pour it in about 4 ounces of water. Yeah, and that's why I'm the happiest guy you know. So there I was last night enjoying the great taste of the Sawsum Sauce burger that you can find over. Remember Full Circle. The Sawsum Sauce burger. It was the only way that I could console myself because I couldn't buy any Extra Joss. So I went to Wendy's and I got a salad, which I know I was going to love. And then I went and I got, I said, I've been talking about this on the radio. And so I invested some time and a couple of bucks in the single format version. You can get these in double or triple. And it was great. It got the awesome bread, and you've got the melty cheese on this and bacon. And I swear they know it's me because I think they doubled up on the bacon. It was so good. Plus, of course, you get that Sawsum sauce. So stay away. Keep your hands off my Extra Joss. Definitely try the salad and the burger at Wendy's.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Is there traffic? There might have been a little bit of extra traffic on Route 8 over by the parts of Route 8 that you can see the airport on. I've got some video I'm going to send to the WhatsApp here. I've got some video from a buddy of mine that is the Antonov that is taking off. And it's unfortunate that you can't really make out the scale of these things if it's the plane all by itself in the video. You put this plane next to, even a 777, and you go, man, that's a big plane. So people on Route 8 this morning might have been treated to watching that take off about 4 minutes ago. And we would hope making its way to Saipan and the NMI, although I don't know that their Saipan would be able to take the Antonov. That's something that we're going to have to dig around and find out. 7:42 in the morning, and looking at the traffic maps, and I don't see a whole lot of incredible traffic right now. Let me just tap this thing a couple of times to make sure it's working. But looks like it's all clear. Right now, traffic happening on the point.
If we want change to happen, we need to show Washington that our issues matter to the American people. Let's take our issues into the halls of Washington and into the American heartland. Powerful change comes from the grassroots up. We have done this successfully as your senator and are ready to bring our issues to the American people as your congressman. I humbly ask for your vote. I'm Michael F. Cusa-Nicholas, and I approve this message.
See if I can make this video play here on the Facebook Live, and there it is, queuing up and getting ready to go. I don't know about the audio. I'm not sure about the audio. I haven't cleared the audio yet, but
it's big and loud.
Well, I know. I get that. So the guy standing on the side of the road taking the picture of the Antonov looks like it's going north on number 6, headed up to Saipan. They say, like I said, a couple of minutes ago, I didn't realize that the Saipan could take a plane this big. I guess that if it could land in Tinian, as you said, should be able to land up in Saipan. You had a conversation with Mr. Hofschneider?
Yeah, well, I'm looking for that video. I'm going to send it over to you in just a second here.
Saipan is an international airport, right?
Yeah,
then being so, it actually has to meet certain runway requirements to land jumbo jets to be an international airport. So yeah, the Antonov has no problem in Saipan.
Yeah, I have no idea about how those things work. So in my mind, it's not necessarily a question of can it land there. You know, if I'm a good pilot, I figure I might be able to put anything down on the ground without breaking too much. But is there enough runway room there in order for something like the Antonov to be able to take off? And again, I don't know. I forgot to go to airplane school. I've told the story many times. There were two things that I wanted to be when I was 17 years old, and thinking about careers. At the time, this was just something I did for fun and impress chicks. But I thought, you know what, I'd love to get into aviation or journalism, and I'd like the military to pay for it. Unfortunately, the one part of the test, the one part of the military battery that I did not ace was the part that kept me away from flight school and journalism school, and it's because I've got, at the time, worse eyesight than I've got now. 7:45 in the morning, 888-8255 is a telephone number, 988, that's it, 988-5874 if you've got some more items on your WhatsApp phone that you would like to send to my WhatsApp phone. Love to talk to you, love to hear from you. Most of this morning, and I think most of today, is probably going to be end up to be a lot of, unfortunately, political gossip, because that's where the news is right now. That's where everything is happening. A statement from Lulian Guerrero goes viral on its own, and then, I'm trying to figure out the timing, and then becomes incorporated into an ad that Ray Tenorio is now running that, as you might imagine, makes her look bad, makes him look really good. So run around. You're going to see them. They're probably already on your phone. And I don't know how you feel about them. I've got conflicting thoughts in my head one way or the other. But the only thing that I can sort out, that I can say with any degree of accuracy or confidence, is there's probably one guy absolutely loving what he is seeing on his WhatsApp phone, and his name is Frank Uggan. Because all of this stuff that's happening, in the fight between the Ray and Lou, makes it so that the fight between him and Lou is downplayed a little bit more. So if I'm Frank Uggan, this is a defile, right? Military term. This is an opening through which we might be able to squeeze in a couple of soldiers and might be able to get a couple of votes out there, and votes in from some people. So you're asking yourself, you might be asking yourself, I'm Lulian Guerrero, and I've got this thing floating around, and there are people that are very upset about it. What do I do? If you think maybe one of the things that you maybe need to mend some fences with other members of the community that might have been, for whatever reason, legitimate or not, feel like they have now been moved away from your spirit as opposed to closer to it, i.e., maybe a couple of thousand Filipino voters. Maybe that's what she's going to be thinking about, and where would I find a couple of thousand disenfranchised, maybe they haven't made up their mind, Filipino voters? Dennis Rodriguez did pretty good. He did pretty good with Filipino voters, and despite what you may have heard, this may have changed. Has not, I repeat, not endorsed. He has not endorsed. That was what was in my head as I was thinking about coming to work today, talking about all of these things, the political gossip that's laying around. And then I saw something, and I thought, my God, it's finally happened. Dennis Rodriguez has finally endorsed. He has finally come out and endorsed. And so you're going, he endorsed Lulian Guerrero? No, he endorsed Adolfo Palacios. Says here in the Guam Daily Post, there's an ad, Palacios for Senator, a testimonial. Good morning, Senator Palacios.
Good morning, Ray, my favorite talk show.
I know, I love it when you say that. And so the ad reads, during my first term in 2011, Senator Palacios was the only incumbent senator to mentor me and provide guidance on the legislative process. I reminded him today about the folder he gave me with all the legislative forms and templates on how public hearings are conducted. This meant so much to me as a freshman senator. We needed leaders like him to serve in the next legislature. Respectful, committed, focused, and honest. This is what he is about. I'm praying for him and his family, and ask my family and friends to please vote for him on November the 6th. And he says, thank you, Siduos Maasi, and the code words to get Filipinos to vote for you. Maraming salamat po. Congratulations, you've gotten something. Even Lou Leon Guerrero hasn't gotten this.
Thank you, Ray. Well, that's what friendship is all about, and I'm really honored that he had chosen me back then in 2011 to get some ideas, to get some guidance on how to conduct public hearing. Because as a member of the majority, he is heading the committee, and I tell you, I learned from the Republican leadership in the 28th Guam legislature and the 29th Guam legislature on how to conduct. So I refined my process of work and everything. And I'm honored that he's using that template, and he's done it all the 4 years and all the 8 years that he served as a senator.
Wow.
It's an honor that it is I who he trusted.
So now, did he offer this endorsement to you, or did you ask for it? How did that work? What were the negotiations like?
Actually, I met him. I met him one day. I mean, actually, October 26th, as a friend, and I said, we just casually chat on those things about, what is his plan and those things. And I said, would you mind if you just say a few words about me? I mean, and that's it. And the endorsement and I guess the message that he sent out eventually, I'm fine with it. It's lengthy. I didn't expect that to be too lengthy, and you remember the date. But, it's coming from the heart because you remember the dates. Actually, it's March 11 when we met, when he came to my office, March 2011. And I shared with him everything at that point, like I said. And, in this committee, he made me a vice chairman.
Oh, that's nice.
Help on those things.
Yeah, so I see where it's a good friendship, and here it is. You're running for office again, and so he's taking advantage of an opportunity to give you what many people consider to be a very, very important endorsement at this point in the race. As I said, there's a lot of reasons for a lot of political candidates to start wanting to get access to some of the people that Dennis Rodriguez still speaks directly to. So,
like I said, we have pictures of supporting him when he was running for the 2011 for the 31st Guam legislature. Yeah. Because that was the only time that we both served together. And going into the 32nd Guam legislature, that's when I didn't make it. I came in number 16. That was his second term.
Yeah, you remember I demanded a recount when that happened. I said, no, that can't be. We got to have a recount if Palacios is not in there.
Rory beat me by over 200. He came in number 15. He's a Democrat anyway, so no problem with that.
So who bought the ad? Whose treasurer is Ben DeGallo? That's your guy, right?
Yes, he's always been. He's my good friend. He supported me in the 29 Guam legislature. Actually, he was one of those that early on when I think he's so cold out, he did not make it. I asked him, "Hey, Ben, what are you doing now?" He said, "Nothing." I said, I need your help. This community outreach for the Filipino community is very highly respected in the Filipino community and really known in the political world where the Filipino community come together and recognize a certain candidate. And
last name DeGallo, yeah. You might assume that. 752, and so you've actually seen Dennis Rodriguez?
I beg your pardon?
You've actually seen him. You've had a Dennis sighting. Dennis and Elvis. You've seen him.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
On October 30th.
No, so you asked him. But you asked him specifically about what his plans were going to be. Did he? Because I'm serious. There's a lot of people that are looking for him in the last 7 days of the it's no stone unturned to get that vote in the next 7 days, and there maybe not enough to get him into a runoff situation or a write-in situation, but he still had a substantial showing at the election, and I assume that most of those votes are still up for grabs because Dennis has not yet made an endorsement. Are you anticipating any other endorsements that former Senator Rodriguez, in fact, Senator Rodriguez could make today for any of the other gubernatorial candidates?
Well, I do not know, but in the event that there is, I would think that his endorsement, or rather his testimonial, I put in the publication testimony, because it's actually an actual personal experience and not just an ordinary ad asking for support. He actually stated why, he actually supporting me, and like he will vote for me.
Okay, but nothing about, he didn't say anything about Lou. Lou's name didn't come up in your conversation?
No, we didn't talk about that. And in fact, I said when I asked him what's his plan, and he said, "Well, he haven't made up his mind yet. He's just now unwinding from the hectic campaign." But I told him personally, I said, "You have a bright future. You're young. I mean, I tell you, you're younger than me by maybe 20 years old. I've been 20 years, and I tell you, you have a bright future, my friend. Yep. And what you did is honorable. It's good. And if I can be involved in your future plans, let me know, because we are friends. You know, we are very good friends."
Wait, because I'm going to read everything into that statement. So it'd be the Rodriguez Palacios for governor.
Well,
what's that delay about? There's a problem with the reception on your cell phone or something. It took you a second to pot it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, now this is why we've always had so much fun. Listen, good luck to you. It's between here and the 6th, and the election is going to be coming up, and there's a whole bunch of new faces out there and some old faces that your old face is going to have to compete against. So I wish you very, very good luck. I think it should be easier now that you've got an endorsement from Senator Rodriguez.
Well, thank you very much. And I always say that to my wife and to my supporters, everybody's working hard. If I don't make it, that's because the other one, I guess everybody's working hard.
Yeah,
I want to win, but if I don't, then I'm prepared to accept it.
You just stay out of the outrigger parking lot between now and then, okay?
Okay, I'll do that.
All right. I'll talk to you later. 888-8255. I'm sorry. Was that a little too over the head, the outrigger parking lot deal? Some will remember, some doomed to forget all of the minor details that go into what eventually comes to the dog's breakfast that is the outcome of an election, and that's where we're going to be in the next couple of days. Here is punching through all of this. As Ron McNinch has pointed out, and I've backed him up on this because I think it's true. The more I think about it, the more it is true. Today, the 30th, Super Tuesday at the University of Guam, there is going to be the great debate. I always wish we had some kind of like reverb sound effect for when I go into moments like that, so I could make it sound bigger than life. The great debate. But I don't. So there's going to be that taking place over at the University of Guam Fieldhouse, and it's only going to be Lou, and it's only going to be Raymond on the stage. There's not going to be a Frank and Alicia out there. Although it wouldn't surprise me if they were in the audience. And it would not surprise me if journalists caught up with them and found some of the more interesting questions that are being asked of Ray and Lou on the stage. And it would be, in my mind, might be interesting. His answers might even be more interesting because he's technically not running against either one of them. Right now, I mean, the battle for tonight has been set. This is going to be all about Lou and the statements that Lou made in that little dance that she was doing, that little I'm from here superiority dance that she was doing at the rally, and Ray Tenorio, who's got two different shirts in this video. Looks like the same rally, but one of them he's wearing a Barong Tagalog, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're going, he's wearing a Barong Tagalog in response in exactly the right place. I mean, it's just so, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just such a well-orchestrated piece. It's interesting to look at. So in my mind, that's what tonight's debate's going to be about. And that's why I'm suggesting, and I'll put a little bit more thought into this while the news is playing and while we're yakking sports in the next hour. I'll put a little bit more thought into the Great Debate Bingo. Because there's software that you can go to the World Wide Web and just come up with I don't know, what's it, 25 different topics, and you put those things down, and then it will give you, I don't know, a dozen bingo cards where all of the different topics have been shuffled around, and then you can play bingo with your friends. And so figure half a dozen of you guys get together. Each one has got a different bingo card. And every time somebody brings up abortion, okay, that closes up a thing. Somebody brings up ethnocentricity, or uses the phrase "I'm from here, Ray." then we can use that as one of those things. Maybe congresspersons' names, or what else? Military buildup, crime, corruption, pay raises, that kind of thing. And like, instead of a free card, I'd put Frank Elgin right there in the middle. right? And that would be the link. It would be like my little bonus there. 888-8255. Sorry, it's just the way my brain is working on a day like today. Lady D asking, will it be live streamed? We are not going to be live streaming this event. However, our news partners over at the Guam Daily Post will be live streaming the event, and I imagine that there's any other number of people who will be sticking an iPhone up somewhere. When you do, please remember to orientate it horizontally. That is, orientate it horizontally. The pictures will be better, and it will be easier for us to use them online. Right? See, like that video with Lou? I sure do wish somebody had shot that this way. That would have been so much better for our video presentation. The radio station is KUSG Hagåtña. My name is Ray Gibson. This is The Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. Fox News Live, next.
An accused killer in court. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The man who authorities say gunned down 11 people at a synagogue in Pittsburgh makes his first court appearance. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, Robert Bowers, in a wheelchair, heard the charges against him as federal attorneys sought justice.
We have a team of prosecutors working hard to ensure that justice is done.
That's U.S. Attorney Scott Brady. Following Bowers' brief hearing, he says his team will seek punishment to the fullest extent of the law, which likely includes the death penalty. Brady says this case will be presented to a federal grand jury within a month. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh community continues to grieve, with the first victim's funeral set for tomorrow, Lisa.
Gernal, the White House expressing condolences to the victims and their families.
Tomorrow, the President and First Lady will travel to Pennsylvania to express the support of the American people and grieve with the Pittsburgh community.
Spokeswoman Sarah Sanders, so far mixed response to the planned visit. Leaders of a liberal Jewish group saying the president is not welcome unless he denounces white nationalism, while the rabbi of the Tree of Life Synagogue made it clear the president would be welcome. As the caravan of thousands of migrants continues to head north, 5,200 troops heading to the southern border.
Our message to the organizers and participants of this caravan is simple. As the President and Secretary Nielsen have made clear, we will not allow a large group to enter the United States in an unsafe and unlawful manner.
Customs and Border Patrol Commissioner Kevin McAleen and the troops are coming from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Joint Base Lewis McChord, Fort Stewart, Fort Campbell, and Fort Riley. Wall Street at the close, another day of big losses as investors expressed concerns that the White House would announce tariffs on all remaining imports from China. The Dow gave up 245 points, the Nasdaq fell 116, the S&P fell 17. This is Fox News.
As a proud father, husband, taxpayer, citizen soldier, and son of Guam, I want to fight for our working class families who pay their taxes on time, send their kids to school, and abide by our laws while taxes rise and services suffer. For 13 years, I served you as a public school educator. For almost 13 years, I served you as a citizen soldier in the Guam National Guard. And now, as number 13 on the Democratic ballot, I want to serve you as your senator. Please vote Jack Hattick III for senator on November 6th. So vote for Jack. I'm Jack Hattick III, and I approve this message.
Calvo started with a simple handshake. As we celebrate 80 years, we extend a hand to all of you who have taken our hand in trust, to the dreamers and realists, the families, the businesses, the young at heart, and the old souls, our manumku and our children. From all of us to all of you, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
The man accused of building bombs and sending them to high-profile Democrats and others will remain in federal prison in Florida for the rest of the week.
Cesar Sayoc was brought into the courtroom in a 10-inmate jumpsuit. His arms were shackled. His legs were not, but a U.S. Marshal was never far from him. Sayoc appeared to be alert and coherent, often talking with his three attorneys, even cracking a smile every now and then. Other times, Sayoc would look around the courtroom, making eye contact with reporters. When called before the magistrate, Sayoc acknowledged his Miranda rights, but then his attorney asked the judge for more time to confer with his client and a room to do so, saying they've only spoken with him through dark mesh dividers. They'll all return to court on Friday. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
The National Federation of the Blind suing Walmart, saying the store's self-checkout kiosks don't fully comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act. 3 Maryland residents who are blind are named in the federal lawsuit. Walmart says it doesn't tolerate discrimination and believes its checkout procedures already comply with the law. A former Olympic bronze medalist who was a victim of disgraced sports doctor Larry Nassar fighting back against USA Gymnastics.
Tasha Schwickert and her sister Jordan announced Monday that they are suing Nassar, USA Gymnastics, and the U.S. Olympic Committee. Schwickert has been openly critical of former USAG chief Steve Penny and his handling of the Nassar scandal, saying he issued a statement supporting Nassar using her name. Seeking to clear the sport from future happenings of abuse, Schwickert suggested in a press conference making one of Nassar's survivors the head of the governing body.
Fox's Matt Napolitano. The NHL has announced a multi-year agreement to provide MGM Resorts with data for use in betting, the second major U.S. professional sports league to strike a deal with a casino giant, since the Supreme Court opened the way for expanded gambling last spring. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
Hyundai Construction Equipment is sold exclusively on Guam by Morico Equipment, a market leader with proven reliability in large excavators, loaders, and forklifts. Morico Equipment, with 28 years on Guam, offers Hyundai Construction Equipment sales, rental, parts, service, and fully maintained lease finance. Hyundai Equipment is in stock on Guam. Equipment demonstrations are available on request. Contact Morico Equipment on Ipoh Road at 649-1946 or go to moricoequipment.com.
Get a 20-ounce stainless steel Circle K Coffee Club tumbler. Just stop into any Circle K, sign up for our Power Pass rewards program, and after your purchase of 15 cups of premium coffee, any size, you get your tumbler for free. While supplies last, conditions apply. See store for details. Get a 20-ounce stainless steel Circle K Coffee Club tumbler. Just swipe your Power Pass key fob when you purchase Circle K Premium Coffee, any size. And after 15 cups, you'll get your tumbler for free. While supplies last, conditions apply. See store for details.
What would you do with unlimited internet? With Docomo Pacific, the possibilities are endless. Docomo Pacific is throwing off the data caps so you can enjoy more of the things you love. Watch, stream, download, and play with no end in sight. Stop by any of our stores or check out DocomoPacific.com to learn more. Life becomes limitless with Docomo Pacific. Better together.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Governor Ralph Torres has decided to postpone the November 6th general election in the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas. Torres told the Guam Daily Post yesterday that he consulted with Commonwealth Attorney General Edward Manabusan before making the decision, which he announced last night. Under Commonwealth law, the governor is authorized to postpone an election, but in no event can it be postponed beyond 30 days. So the election will be postponed in the CNMI by 1 week only until November 13th. Early voting, however, will begin next Tuesday on Election Day, November 6th. Torres said he has suspended his election campaign as well, telling the Post that nothing is more important than recovery and people's lives and their well-being. Torres is a Republican who served as lieutenant governor under Governor Eloy Enos. Torres became the 10th governor of the CNMI in December of 2015 following Enos's death. Torres is competing against Democrat Juan Babauta, who served as governor of the CNMI from 2002 to 2006. The Guam Department of Education thinks that a nearly 350 student drop in high school enrollment for the last school year may be attributable to a high school teacher's alleged diploma scam. A release from Guam DOE yesterday states that the drop in high school enrollment is likely related to the recent BAM high school diploma scam. Andrea Cruz, a teacher at George Washington High, was arrested on October 17th after an investigation into the Believe, Achieve, Motivate private tutoring school. The investigation of BAM was launched after Guam Community College officials questioned the legitimacy of the diplomas that the tutoring school was issuing. We'll have more news after this.
For more than 40 years, we've earned your trust, caring for our island's health, quality care and access to health solutions you deserve. Take care, our island, your health plan. Take care, health solutions that you deserve. Take care, peace of mind to coming for you. Take care, take care, take care.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
11 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. The latest stir on the campaign front is a video of remarks made by Democratic gubernatorial nominee Lou Leon Guerrero at a recent campaign rally. The remarks have been seized on by her Republican rival Ray Tenorio. In the video, Leon Guerrero is heard to say, "This is my island. I'm from here, Ray. I was born and raised here, Ray. My family is here, Ray, and I am more qualified to be governor of Guam," she said. In response, Tenorio has issued a statement calling the remarks appalling and an insult to the Filipino, Chinese, Korean, and Micronesian communities that also call Guam home. The two candidates for governor face off again tonight in the great debate at the University of Guam Fieldhouse. The cultural resource manager for the War in the Pacific National Historical Park is accusing the military of bulldozing the remnants of Magua Village on the grounds of the new Marine Corps base being built at Nictams in Dedido. David Lotz, who is also a member of the Guam Board for Historic Preservation, said he couldn't find any sign of the remnants of the Chamorro Heritage Site when he went to visit on Sunday. On The Point yesterday morning, Lotz acknowledged that no latte stones were there after being removed for safekeeping by the Navy back in the 50s, and he also acknowledged that the programmatic agreement did say that the area was going to be destroyed, but Lotz said as a member of the Historic Preservation Board, he hoped that the site could be preserved so that the latte stones could be brought back and placed appropriately. "I'm very disappointed and disgusted that this has occurred," said Lotz. In an email response to the Guam Daily Post, however, Joint Region PIO Lieutenant Ian McConaughey said that the Navy completed studies at the site in 2011 and concluded that the site was not permanently inhabited. The Navy and Marine Corps, he said, have been diligently working with the Guam State Historic Preservation Office and the Guam Historic Preservation Trust to ensure strict compliance with the law. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now, taking a look at weather.
And partly cloudy skies, very hot today with isolated showers. East winds up to about 15 miles an hour, decreasing tonight. Highs near 90 degrees with a maximum afternoon heat index about 105 hot degrees. Overnight lows going to be cooler, about 77 degrees. Sunset at 5:54, sunrise at 6:14. And we are almost to the end of I don't know, kind of the fall season around here. We're going to be getting out of this particular Burr month, October, in one more day, and then we move into what I like to consider some of the best times of the year: November, December, January, February, right on through till about middle end of April. What is that phenomenon about there, Michael Knight?
Well, that's just winter in the tropics, where things get a little cooler but still stay hot because, well, we're below 20 degrees latitude, so that's just how it works. But yeah, you know, we just get these incursions of dry air that'll start moving in, and again, they think the first one may start doing that towards the middle of next month, and that'll continue every couple of weeks, and we just get reinforcements of drier air coming in from the continent, sliding on by, and then once in a while we'll even get a little cool shot, but like we did last year where we set some records. I'm not sure if that'll happen again this year. We'll just have to see.
Gonna go buy myself a sexy new members-only jacket that they sell over on the base.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. Check and see if they've got... My friend Jack goes down there all the time, so I'm just saying, Jack, if you're down there and they've got one like size 42 in the chest, that would be perfect. If they have one in leather, awesome. Pick it up for me, and if I remember, I'll pay you back for it. 8:14, that's news and weather together here on The Point.
Docomo Pacific is making the Better Together bundle even better. 2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by Security Title. When you absolutely need confidential, better yet, never mind confidential. I don't care who knows what my real estate business is. You know what I need? I need help. That's what I need. Security Title been doing this. They've seen everything. So give Kim, Ron a telephone call today and say, dude, I got some real complex stuff in front of me. Help me out. American President Lines, they're shipping the future. Might hear from Charlie in a little bit. Micronesia Renewable Energy, never a better time to go solar. American Water Tech, smarter water, better water. Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. And finally, last but not least, AK Lexus, home of the new 2019 ES 350s. Excellent automobile. Lexus brand, Lexus trappings, Lexus appointments. This is the car that you want to get into. Trust me, test drive it. You won't ever want to get out. Waiting for you right now with the keys. It's already on. The air conditioner's already cool. It's waiting for you to test drive at AK.
The Coconut Wireless is back. Morning talk that matters. The Ray Gibson Show.
Yeah, I try to ask good questions. Ken LG asking, referring to something that I was talking about. That's right, I said Ken Leon Guerrero's name. That's it. There's people listening going, what's he going to say about Ken? What is... I got to get ready to call in and decry that. No. Ken LG, listening this morning, I was talking about the Antonov. And a friend of mine out running this morning with the camera took a picture, a video of the Antonov cruising up on going north on 6, runway 6 over at the airport. I presume headed for Saipan. He presumed headed for Saipan, but it got me thinking. That's a big airplane, and so landing an airplane, you might have enough runway to get that done. But is there enough runway in Saipan and Tinian for it to be able to take off again? And Ken, I can't remember why that resonated in my head, but Ken was asking online. He says, that is a good question. Remember when a B-52 landed at NAS, they had to take it apart and tow it to Anderson so that they could put it together and it could take off from Anderson Air Force Base. That's not normally a runway that they would be using other than for an emergency or perhaps some kind of touch-and-go training. So, now that might have changed in the intervening years. Again, I forgot to go to airplane school, so I'm not 100% sure. Hopefully, I've got my fingers crossed that the Antonov is bound for Saipan, because that can carry all kinds of relief equipment and aid and water and Huggies and all of these other things that people... mosquito coil, things that they need all the time. If you've got time, be listening. We'll get you some drop-off area details so that you can go and drop off, clothes or food or flashlights and batteries and mosquito coil for your relatives up in Saipan. When we were doing this in Ulithi, there were some people that actually would write names on boxes. And then tell them, okay, the ship is coming in tomorrow. Make sure that you're at the dock to pick it up, because there's a couple of boxes with you and the names of the kids. I don't know if they're working that magic this time, but that would be cool. 8:18, and would you look at Blake Watson in the studio with me? Hello, Blake. How you doing there?
I'm good.
I'm glad to hear that.
Second quarter sports are in full effect, so I'm good. I also wanted to show you this. This is what I was looking for. Day 2. This is a guy from, I believe, either Saipan or Tinian. And it says day 2 of scavenging for your clothes.
Oh, I've seen that video. Send that to me on the WhatsApp, and I'll put that online. But
it's a guy from over there who's making light of the situation as he's dressed in what looks like a one-piece swimsuit with a skirt, and he's wearing some work gloves with a parasol and Zoris.
Fine, sexy man.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I'll send that to you.
All right, do that for me. It'd be very, very cool. What do we got here? 8:19. There is going to be football today, correct?
There is football this morning, yes, but I wouldn't really call it a game. It's more like a scrimmage practice.
It's the Patriots. Yeah, it's the Patriots and the Bills.
It's the one, like I said, one of the best teams in the league, arguably, against probably, not arguably, the worst team in the league.
Okay, so this is, I want to be for the underdog here.
Don't. Yeah. I'm telling. Let me tell you why. Because that underdog has bitten me several times. Because every year, I get a little wild hair, and I think, oh, this is going to be the year.
That's the way I feel about the gubernatorial election here.
It's one of those deals. It's like saying that, it's like, it's like knowing something and pulling for David, knowing he's going to beat Goliath. You know, like that's how, like if you said, and especially you, not keeping an ear to the sports realm so much. If you're like, oh, I think the Bills are going to beat the Patriots today, and it happened, people would think you're some kind of wizard soothsayer.
I'm a genius.
And it would pay off because it would never happen. So that's why I say I've done it before. I've been like, oh, I think today's the day, but it's never the day.
Watch this game in 21-20 Bills.
Hey, you know what?
If the Bills win, that's how it would have to be.
Yeah, but I will tell you this. If the Bills win, there is no reason, rhyme, or another reason that they should win this game at all. So if they do, it'll just be a complete fluke.
Dumb luck. Dumb luck.
Yeah.
Overinflated balls.
Or Tom Brady gets hurt like in the first play or something, and maybe they have a chance.
Sweep the leg. Sweep the leg. So that's
New England has 14 points.
It's the one piece of NFL that's going to be going on today, and you're poo-pooing it.
Yeah,
there was poo-pooing going on.
It's going to be about the equivalent of 2 weeks ago, whenever the Broncos played the Cardinals, because those two teams are equally terrible. So that game was terrible. And it was like, it was like 34-3 before halftime, I think.
I'm looking online to see if there's anybody that is going to disagree with you, but there's not.
No.
Frank Blas Jr.'s chimed in. I got Rich Leon, Tommy Garcia.
They got no qualms with what I'm saying
Jack
here.
Haddock's there. Jack's like, hurry up with the sports. Let's get back to talking about government corruption.
Yeah, there's not much going on in the NFL realm. I do have some soccer here, though, as FD continues to roll. By the way, 40-0. Mike Knight, I got their complete tally. They are 40 games to no losses.
Wow.
Yeah, since the last time they lost.
That's an insane stretch.
Of course, they capped it off with the championship in football over the weekend. And in the other game of football, it kicked off yesterday. Did IIAG high school boys soccer for second quarter. And let's see here. I got an unofficial score, so maybe it's right, but I'm just going to go and unofficially say Ukadu beat Guam High 2-1. If that changes, let me know. And 4-1 is where FD stood as they won yesterday, 4-1, and their opponent's one was a PK.
So what is normally the back page, what is normally the realm of the back page of the newspapers, is now on the front page of today's Guam Daily Post. It is the story of Michael Douglas Hyatt.
I saw this yesterday.
Table tennis Olympian, and it just keeps getting juicier and juicier, this story. Originally it was just allegations and hey, I'm dealing with it, and nobody was giving anybody a hard time. It looks like now the Guam Table Tennis Federation, the ping pong guys out here are saying, okay, we're not affiliated. They're walking it backwards now.
They've put their hands up and pushed back from the table.
Oh, really? Is that what this is about? Well, I'll tell you what.
Guy? No, I don't know that guy.
You need to get your life sorted out, and then we'll start having this conversation.
I did see that. So from what I read, not today, but from what I read yesterday.
Read today.
Read today.
Oh, yeah.
There's another chapter.
Oh, page 5, it gets better. There's a Hyatt.
I have it pulled up right here. I just haven't completed.
Look, the fact is, this guy had the wrong sport. If you're going to scam rich women, you need to be a tennis instructor, not a table tennis instructor.
or if you're going to scam your own federation, you need to be involved in FIFA.
Right.
Yeah, not the table tennis federation. Why are you picking on them? They're already ping pong players. And then you're going to steal from them, too?
Yeah, Forrest Gump is rolling over in his grave.
With his Flexolite ping pong paddle.
The allegations here and saying she agreed to be in the business, then she broke up with me, and then we didn't communicate for a long time. I had said that he was scared for his life, claiming that Toro had access to guns and had threatened him. He said she made threats. Her brother has a gun. I lived with her, and he has 2 guns. There was another one. Jody Cummings claimed she met Hyatt on Bumble, an online dating site. She said she and Hyatt were in a relationship from July of 2017 to November of 2017. It's not a long relationship.
I think that's when he moved here, right? I think he moved here about a year, like October, November, maybe?
Basically, he squatted in my house for 2 weeks. He exhibited unstable behavior. She filed a restraining order and had police remove him from her house. His response, none of that is true. She filed an illegal restraining order. Norwood walks away from Michael Hyatt and just operates like normal. The next week, people get sick. Maybe some even die. What?
What?
Like I said,
is he voodoo? Does he practice in the Santeria?
Wow, that was interesting. It's reached a whole nother level of crazy. Only matched with other levels of crazy today. The only other thing crazier than that is Lulian Guerrero.
That same
doing
day,
her thing.
October 19th.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
October 19th, several women contacted the Post alleging that Hyatt is not who he claims he is. Which I will tell you this, though. I did a Google search after I read the story yesterday on this guy, Michael Hyatt.
You'd be the second person doing a Google search. People apparently at the GFTT did not.
Well, what I'm saying is if you search Michael Hyatt, Jamaica, table tennis, 1992 Olympian, not much comes up. Vintage. Like, you would think him being an Olympian. Like, I can go find a picture of Dominic Mucciano from the 1992 gymnastics team.
Right.
But I cannot find a picture of this guy from like 92 or 96.
Well, keep in mind, table tennis
games,
is not exactly a
but surely it's documented.
Sport.
I mean, curling. You can find curlers from back in the day.
Hey, that's a real Olympic sport.
That's cool, man.
Y'all are dogging table
just
tennis.
make a new federation, and the Olympic Committee makes more money.
If there was no table tennis, there would be no beer pong, fellas.
The University of Guam recognizes island sports legends.
Saw this.
Yeah, we saw, and everybody up on the stage I know, but there's one in particular that I still pay a certain amount of homage to, and that's Coach Joe Titano.
Right there in the middle.
Right there in the middle. Get an award here for the work that he has done over his career in men's basketball. But I know Coach Joe, and I knew him, and first learned of him when I was running track as a senior in high school.
I was about to say, I've always heard basketball, JFK, and originally, and then also track and field from back in the day at JFK. I think,
and he was the guy. I liked my coaches, but I wanted to be on his team because I wanted him to coach me.
Yeah,
but
like an all-star team. You wanted to be picked for like the Pro Bowl team and have him be the coach.
To this day, I mean, if I'm out running, we like to run in some of the same places, just training runs and stuff like that. When I see Coach Joe coming in the opposite direction, I pick up my pace, lift my chest a little bit higher. I've got to be, I want to be the athlete that he always believed that I was. I'm 56 years old. You would think that I would be over that kind of hero worship. But Coach Joe, it's lasted a lifetime, and I still yearn for your approval.
One of the funniest tweets I saw, one of my biggest fears is that I'll marry into a family that runs 5Ks on holidays, Ray. I'll send you that one, too.
Who said that?
Natalie Skrotsky on Twitter. Out of some random girl. I just found it from one of my sources, so I'll send you that, too.
8:27. I'll never force you to run 5Ks with me if you don't force me to eat vegan food. It's 8:27 in the morning.
That's all I got.
That's it?
Yeah. Oh, wait, hang on. There's a game today. Soccer. That's all. I wanted to round that out.
The big game today. Okay, who's playing? You finish up, and I'll tell you where the real big game is.
I'm sorry. High school girls basketball. St. John and St. Paul. Ukudu traveling to
the other soccer.
Yes, St. Sanchez at JFK. Notre Dame at Guam High, and Southern will fly up to Harvest. There you go.
I'm such a mainlander. I can't even get pumped about soccer.
Soccer?
Yeah.
It's like the metric system. It's interesting, but I don't
measure yourself in stone.
I just, and I know guys, and they've had kids, and there's like the worst thing that can ever happen, because then you never see them anymore, right? So like the worst thing that can ever happen in that buddy relationship is when their kid gets into soccer at 4 and they show some aptitude at it. That's it, dude. You're in the cult. You are a part. You're going to be here until the kid is 18 years old. Buy a tent. Get the team logo put on the tent, and don't bother with one of those little coolers. No, you need the big cooler. You want the one that holds 100 juice packs. and ice. And that's your job. You're gonna go and buy a new truck so that you've got something to haul your tent and your big ass cooler around in. I'm just saying. Well, I'm fortunate I dodged that particular bullet.
Yeah. I would. You know what? That's why I'm gonna get my kid in jiu-jitsu. You know, there's no like, you know, you just show up for the class and you leave. There's no like whole day of it. There's no, you know, whole big tailgating event.
Yep. I got my kid into video games.
Yeah,
that was not hard at all.
Somebody asked me, I said, what about did you go to the Father Duenas game the other night? You know, you're interested in, you know, people that are playing on the team and all of that. And it was the championship game. And I said, no. And they said, why not? I said, you ever see anybody drinking beer at those games?
Can't.
Well, you don't see them drinking beer
That's
because
true.
their beer is camouflaged as some other non-alcoholic.
I don't know when that happened. You know, back in the old days, you could trust people to be adult around
I
adult
utilize
beverages.
Liberation Day rules. I just do it until somebody either notices and tells me to stop, or I just keep, you know what I mean? Or I just hide it. I don't do it blatantly, but I don't like, you know, I don't not.
I'm sorry, Ray Gibson would never do anything like that. It's 8:30 in the morning. The real big game, the real big event here is going to be what's going to be taking place tonight at the University of Guam Fieldhouse. The great debate. Lou Leon Guerrero, Josh Tenorio against Ray Tenorio and Tony Atta.
Ray, I cannot wait because I am so tired of these commercials on my YouTube videos, and I'm so tired of the billboards just casting a shadow on my house, actually and literally.
No, it's
from
good
where I
to have
live.
it's
I
good
live
to
in
have
the shadow of the billboards.
Yeah, well, we're almost out of it. There's just a few more things that we've got to get our heads around and our hands around, and then it will be done. Then we will be finished, and at least it depends on if there's a runoff.
I was about to say, Kevin was Kevin was just like,
just waiting to chime in on that. So yesterday, did you think there was going to be a runoff, or did you think that Lou was looking pretty good yesterday? It changes, doesn't it? Day by day. All of a sudden, we've got the kill death hit piece that I'm not playing. I just got a note from one of the political operatives on one of the gubernatorial teams, and somebody told him that I was, quote, grinning up over this anonymous kill death video with a lady named Evangeline that is suggesting that Lou Leon Guerrero was mean to her and being racist, and so she's blacked out in the thing.
Yeah, why was that blacked out? I mean,
it doesn't make any sense. I mean,
with her name there and her voice, you know.
Stand up and say who you are.
They're using the same production people from Unsolved Mysteries. Apparently.
Yeah. So it's something like that. So as far as I'm concerned, and so I'm not playing it. He said, "Well, you're referring to it." I said, "I'm referring to say how messed up it is. What a cheap, crude." Unbelievably see-through piece this is. I mean, it's the same thing they did to Robert Underwood.
Yeah, your ideas. I mean, your job's to kind of talk, right? You wouldn't be doing it if you weren't saying something about it.
So somebody's in, and now we put this footage up on the screen. This is what you were talking about.
Yes.
Yesterday we showed you a video of a spiritual, almost spiritual kind of resilience that the people of the CNMI have in the wake of this disaster. It's also nice to see. They haven't lost their sense of humor. So this is what happens after 3 days of scavenging.
For your own clothes. You just pick up whatever you can on the way, so at least you're covered.
It blew into my yard. I'm going to wear it.
Because that's the thing. That is the thing. Do you, like, if the typhoon's blowing in overnight and you're not expecting your structure that you're in to survive it, do you dress for that? You know, like, because clearly, surely you don't sleep in your normal garb, which is whatever. I mean, I know everybody sleeps differently, but, you know, if you normally sleep very scantily clad and you know a storm's blowing through and your house may not make it, do you still sleep? You just say
fully clothed,
so just
ready to leave any minute.
In a parka?
I don't have a plate mail outfit in my closet. So.
So it's 8:32 in the morning. I think that's all the time we got for sports here. We'll give you a wrap-up tomorrow morning on what happened at the University of Guam Fieldhouse. And again, congratulations to Coach Joe and everybody else got their awards and plenty of love. And good luck to whoever it is playing soccer today.
Yeah, yeah, and basketball.
Did you want the high school boys soccer calendar?
I have that.
You have it? Okay.
I just don't have. I don't have the girls basketball calendar. So if anybody wants to send that to me or to Ray, that would be greatly appreciated.
WhatsApp is 988-5874. That's 988-5874. If you want it to go directly to Blake Watson,
Blake.Watson@choicellc.com,
or your WhatsApp next door
682-7101.
Headlines with Kevin Kerrigan coming up next.
What are the benefits of switching to the handset payment option with GTA? For starters, you can customize a plan that matches your budget and and lowers your monthly payment. HPO lets you upgrade to the latest phones whenever you want. No more waiting for a contract to end to get that slimmer, faster smartphone. Because with HPO, there are no contracts. HPO lets you design a phone plan that suits you. So join the thousands who have already switched to HPO, the most customizable phone plan on island. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
For clarity, because there's all kinds of second and third hand stuff that gets flown around in this town. Hey, did you hear what Ray Gibson said? Hey, did you hear what Ray Gibson did? For clarity, this is the video that I am playing today.
I love our culture. This is my island. I am from here, Ray. I was born and raised here, Ray. My family is here, Ray. So I am more qualified to be governor of Guam.
That's the piece that I'm playing here today. I am not playing the one with Evangeline, who said Lulian Guerrero was mean to me and said disparaging things about my education, yada yada yada. I'm not playing that one, and if you would like me to play it, I will. Just put the camera on her face.
I'm not even sure that Evangeline would even matter after seeing this. It wouldn't to me.
Just put the thing, yeah, but it's all in the vein. It's all in the vein.
Oh, absolutely. But the arrogance
that's
displayed
where
here
it's
is
heading.
just mind-boggling.
Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I'm curious about context. It's 8:35 in the morning. 888-8255 is the phone number. 988-5874. And right now, headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. A few quick online searches and a phone call to verify former table tennis Olympian Michael Hyatt's background would have given the Guam Table Tennis Federation some pause before they hired him. However, the Federation claims it didn't find out about Hyatt's past until the Post asked about it. An arrest warrant has been issued in California for Hyatt, who is alleged to have committed welfare fraud. Two women claim they were financially conned by him, and he's also been suspended by the USA Table Tennis Federation for alleged sexual misconduct. In a prepared statement issued to the Post on Sunday, the Guam Table Tennis Federation said they welcome Michael Hyatt's enthusiasm to the sport of table tennis. The statement goes on to say that after 10 years of executing our development plan, it was heartwarming for us to know that an Olympian saw our efforts and wanted to use his expertise to help us achieve our goals. Federation added towards the latter end of their statement that it has now cut ties with Hyatt, and he's no longer allowed to represent the Federation or use its logo until after he clears his name. The Guam Department of Education thinks that a nearly 350 student drop in high school enrollment for the last school year may be attributable to a high school teacher's alleged diploma scam. A release from Guam DOE issued yesterday states that the drop in high school enrollment is likely related to the recent BAM high school diploma scam, which affected an estimated 300 students. Andrea Cruz, a teacher at George Washington High, was arrested October 17th following an investigation into the Believe, Achieve, Motivate private tutoring school. The investigation launched into BAM after Guam Community College officials began to question the legitimacy of the diplomas that BAM was issuing. Governor Eddie Calvo yesterday announcing he has ordered the release of funds for the payment of the annual cost of living allowance for GovGuam retirees. The funds have been remitted to the retirement fund. $13.9 million from the general fund was sent to the GovGuam retirement fund on Friday. Another $2.5 million from the autonomous agencies was sent in yesterday. In a statement announcing the release yesterday, the governor said, with the efficient management of our cash resources, we've been able to ensure that our retirees have been able to get their cost of living allowance each year of the Calvo Tenorio administration. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Okay, it's 8:37. That's iConnect time. 888-8888 is their telephone number. They are the practical choice because they've got excellent rates and programs that you need in your house all the time. There's I was going to say microwave. not microwave. Internet and mobile and push-to-talk plans. Find out more.
I didn't plan to be a single mom. No one does. But here I am, mid-30s, divorced with 3 kids, just trying to make things work. With the rising cost of living on Guam, it gets harder for working families like mine to get by. I've heard some politicians say that the economy is good, but rent is higher, health insurance is too expensive, and our incomes have stayed the same. It's clear that the change they are talking about hasn't been for us, and we deserve better. I'm just so tired of all the empty promises. It's time to fight for a Guam that working families can afford. That's why I'm voting for Lulian Guerrero. Lou is a successful businesswoman who doesn't just talk about creating jobs. She doesn't just talk about housing, she's made it possible for people just like me to buy their first home. So when she says she's going to work to make Guam better, I believe her and I trust her. I'm voting for Lou, and I ask all of you who are tired of the way things have been to vote for her too.
I'm Lulian Guerrero, and I approve this ad.
Paid for by the committee to elect Leon Guerrero Tenorio. Tony Sanford, treasurer.
In 20 minutes, it'll be 9 o'clock in the morning. Hi, my name is Ray Gibson, and I have just recently enjoyed, and I cannot stop raving about the Sawsum Sauce burger that you can find over at Wendy's. That's the big deal for you. They've got this Sawsum Sauce, and it was so Sawsum, I wanted more. I open the thing up and I go, oh, there's this awesome stuff, and I eat it, and I'm going, man, I'd like to be able to take the burger and dip it into Sawsum sauce and then eat it that way. You know what I mean? If you don't know what I'm talking about, get in the car, head to the nearest Wendy's, figure after 10 o'clock in the morning or so, then they'll start cooking that for lunchtime. It's got bacon in it, which is great. It has pickles in it. It has onions, but I told them to take that off, because I didn't want anything else getting in the way of me and that Sawsum sauce. You can find it in the triple or double or single formats. That's available and waiting for you. Wendy's today.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
There is traffic today. I haven't really looked at the gizmo all that much today because it, frankly, was fairly thin most of the rest of drive time. But now here we are, second string traffic, northbound Marine Corps Drive up in the Jigo area. You're going to see some traffic before you get up to the actual village. In Barrigada, Route 16 in both directions now. Yeah, we're looking at traffic building for sure northbound, which is odd. Normally it's southbound traffic from the post office to Happy Mart and the intersection there. Also might see a line of traffic, again, northbound on Route 8 as you make your way towards 8, 10, and 16. Nothing on Route 10 and nothing happening on Route 4. Traffic getting into the downtown Hagåtña area. Fairly smooth. You might see a little bit of traffic, some delays coming out of Tidsin. Again, northbound on Sunset Boulevard, making your way to the turn that takes you to the airport and then the intersection for Home Depot. Anything else? No, the rest of it is the usual suspects here today in terms of traffic. 19 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. That's right now traffic. On the point.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sport Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sport Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
Well, Facebook is an interesting village today. I must say. Where's the answer I was looking for? Brett Donahue he's got an actual valid comment in between all of the running skirmishes about Lou and Ray Tenorio. So Brett Donahue writing this morning, caught the last 2 seconds about an Antonov question. Just want to let you know there are 2 Antonovs flying back and forth between Saipan. You can see them, and then it gives me the link for FlightAware, which is awesome. I love FlightAware. Look for type A124 and IL76. Also, Asia Pacific has been flying back and forth between the islands as well. And very, very cool. There is the link for FlightAware. I actually had for a while a relationship with FlightAware where I had an antenna on the roof and the antenna could see, I don't know, 450 miles around, and that's when it would start getting the pings from all of the airplanes that are flying around here. And I got to tell you, the amount of regular traffic that we get through Guam on a daily is pretty incredible. And then because we can't see 500 miles off in the distance, but the radio can. And then to see all of the other traffic that flies in and around and through and over that you have no idea that is out there. It will astonish you. See if you can dig some of that out on your own flight aware. 8:43 in the morning, 888-8255, talking about sending relief one way or the other up to Saipan and Rota and Tinian. And it seems to me that things are beginning to open up a lot wider than they were the first time Charlie Hermosa and I spoke from the American President lines. The boss, Charlie, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ray. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good. Very heartened, I think, is the word that I want to use. Yesterday, and you and I are members of a couple of the same chats, and I know you saw that picture of those little kids sitting down on a concrete bench, holding each other in the aftermath of the storm. You know, it's like it came down to that's the important thing. We've got each other.
That's absolutely so correct, Ray. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to continue to get the message out. In any way that we can support the community here, especially with, Saipan, Tinian, Rota, whatever we can do to support, we want to make sure that we continue to get the word out. And as you mentioned, the transportation flow is really starting to kick in, whether it's either by air and ocean. We have a lot of service partners that our ship is sailing tonight with our first round of release going into Saipan. And then the other carriers will also have regular service going out on a week-to-week. So I think that, from a transportation perspective, they really have things going now.
Well, I'm absolutely delighted. The amount of, the sheer volume of relief activities that are taking place here is amazing. The Azuta Foundation, and then we've got the Northern Mariana Pros, the Young Professionals Organization from up there, Sons of Saipan, and for our involvement, we're working with the folks over at the Guam Daily Post. Mindy and them have had the resources to be able to put together Mariana's Strong. So we are also part of it. We're not the drop-off location, but I'll send you to any GTA, Guam Daily Post, Guam Fire Department fire stations, the Santa Teresita Catholic Church out in Mangilao, and there's all kinds of items that they are looking for specific to Saipan and Tinian. Batteries, flashlight, tapes, tools, tarps, nails, rope, mosquito coils, insect repellent, cleaning supplies, adult and baby diapers, wipes, toiletries, personal hygiene items. And I'll equate it by saying this: if you pulled up to where your house was and it was gone, what would you need in the first hour? What would you absolutely need in the first hour? Those are the things that they need right now in Saipan. So as you're out there doing your shopping and you're going, well, gee, I was looking and they were kind of sold out on all that stuff over at Home Depot. There's all kinds of other stuff from other stores that will help fill cupboards and containers. Hey, do you have containers, by the way?
Absolutely. Whatever anybody needs, we're here to support and/or guide them correctly. If we can't do it, we'll find a way or guide them to someone that can.
Right,
so
right.
That's pretty much that we can.
Well, let me, as an example, let me just pretend off the top of my head, I'm just thinking, okay, I'm going to do Ray Gibson relief for Saipan, and I need a container. Would you be able to bring one, say, to the radio station?
Absolutely.
And take it off the trailer?
Both ways. We can leave it on the chassis, or we can take it off the trailer.
Or you can take it off the trailer. I'm not picking stuff up 7 feet. No, I'm not a strong man.
It's a good workout.
Yeah, that's why your chest's so much bigger than mine. All right, so you can take it in both directions and then haul it out for the next sale of the American President lines. As you said, you've got some cans going out tonight. Got any more room on that ship?
Yeah, yes, we do. I believe right now we're getting close to the cutoff for at the port, and ironically, it's the APL Saipan that's going out tonight. So I will actually be taking the ship. I will board the ship tonight and take it over and be on Saipan tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, give me a ring if you're there in the morning. If you're within cell tower view or something like that, give me a call. We'll see if we can hook up, and you can tell me a little bit about the voyage and what you've heard or what you see from your particular vantage point on the APL Saipan.
I definitely will. I'll take some pictures and send them over to you.
Now, are you doing any break bulk up there?
We are. It's on. Yeah, we're definitely doing break bulk. However, we're moving a few water buffaloes. It all depends on what the cargo is and how we can load it. But we're really taking everything.
All right. Now, somebody was talking about being able to fly up some generators, and I thought, well, if you got generators, then the smart money for me is to put them in a container, maybe some break bulk, and get them up there. But I'd also heard, there's rumors floating around everywhere, I'm sure. I'd also heard there's no more generators for sale on Guam.
We've heard the same. So we've actually reached out to our corporate folks over in Singapore to see if they can generate as for the local folks on our staff out there. We're trying to see if we can source them off island right now. So we've heard the same, and you'd be surprised. There's a lot of cargo that's moving via air, which is great as well, because of the proximity of the island. A lot of cargo is moving via air, which is good.
Well, as I said, it's interesting because I've maybe seen an Antonov plane like twice in my life prior to this summer, and all of a sudden, the Antonov flies around here as often as the 777s and the 747s. There's that big plane again.
Right, so true.
Anyway, Charlie, listen, on behalf of the folks in Saipan and the CNMI and the people around here that want to help but just need the tools to get it done, thanks very much. How do we get a hold of you and the folks in the office to get those cans either delivered and picked up?
Right. So if they can call 588-4651, there will be somebody there behind that to support you and help you.
Okay.
588-4651.
4651. Or get a hold of me. I know Charlie's secret numbers.
Right.
All right, buddy. You take care of yourself and have a good voyage overnight.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
I hope so. That's interesting. That's fast. That would be about the best thing about being the guy that runs the shipping company on Guam. I'll bet my other friends over in the other shipping places have just as much fun. Every once in a while, I'll just go, hey, you know what? Let's go to Saipan. And they go, yeah, but the airport's closed or I can't get reservations. It's okay. We'll ride my boat. It's only a 12-hour sail. And you go, it's 12 hours. What am I going to do for 12 hours on a boat? I imagine there's enough to do. If they just gave you a couple of yeoman duties in there, I think there'd be plenty enough to do on board a working cargo ship. I've threatened, and it's one of those things, I got to work out the technology. Because what I needed to be able to see here is satellites or a mechanism so that I could, from the deck of a ship or from a cabin in a ship, conduct a live broadcast and just talk to guys over the course of about 4 hours. I think that'd be crazy fun. One of these days, we'll pick up a satellite phone or we'll work on some other means of low bandwidth consumption audio carriage and get something like that done. 9 away from the top of the hour. It's almost 9 o'clock in the morning. What are the big stories? I don't know. For me, it's proximity. We are in the last 7 days to get the votes. That's it. 7 days. Oh, really? Okay. So between here and next Tuesday, expect things to get crazier. Expect things to get a little woollier and wilder. Expect an increase in the temperature of the conversations where we could, in the past, happily disagree about the platform of your guy and the platform of my guy or my girl or whatever. Now it's your guy is Satan. That's who it is. Oh, yeah? Well, yours is Adolf Hitler. Yeah, that's what's going on. That's the tenor of the conversation that's taking place right now. And it's annoying to me. It is annoying. The part of it is like, okay, that's cool. I can deal with it. I'm a talk show host, right? It's material for me to use. But the other part of it is I kind of want to go back a couple of months when we were actually talking about issues. When we were talking about Guam Memorial Hospital, when we were talking about, the budget of the government of Guam, I think it's all of that stuff is like, it's gone now. We got video of Lou and the superiority dance over there. I'm from here, Ray. I'm from here. And the different responses that are coming. Now everybody is like this. It's this, what's the word I'm looking for? It's, are we really indignant about this? Or is this Hollywood indignance that I'm seeing? I find it appalling. All right. One of the big deals that we've got to worry about here today, I've expressed my concerns about it. is that I'm worried that our destination has got some issues. And I was happy to read a contribution by my very good friend, I like to say, Bart Jackson, who I've apparently caught just finishing a round of tennis. Good morning, Bart.
Half a day, Ray, half a day, Guam.
Did you win in your round of tennis?
I'm sorry to say, no. I did not win, but we made it very competitive.
Yeah, I'll bet. Who are you playing against?
We had played. Dave Alcorn was out there. Senator Frank Ishizaki was out there, and Ernie Galito from AK. It was a great, very competitive foursome.
These are good tennis players. I mean, we're not talking about the old lady league here. These are good tennis players.
But we are old. Make no mistake about that. I'm the youngest of the group, and that's a problem. When I'm the youngest anywhere, that's a problem.
Yeah, well, the problem, but the problem is Ernie hasn't aged. I've known Ernie since 1984. He still fits the same pants. It's crazy. 8:54 in the morning, and I was so glad to read your editorial, or not so much your editorial contribution today in the newspaper, because it echoes an interesting sentiment that I have been observing over the last, I don't know, year or so. It's the number of Korean FITs out there, and if they were just FITs kind of around the airport, GPO. Sheraton and Tumon, that'd be one thing. But these guys are getting lost up on Nevermind Road and into places where frankly I don't know that I want tourists to come away with that impression. We got to clean this town up.
Yeah, that's a real challenge, and it's not just so much even that they rent a car and drive around. With the advent of the short-term vacation rental, they're now staying. There are vacation rentals in virtually every village, and so we're now having tourism is no longer Tumon and East Agania Bay.
No.
Tourism is really island wide, and I think it's important for all of us to remember that and to take care of the island appropriately.
Yeah, and never mind them. We should be doing it for ourselves initially, and they would also be the beneficiaries of clean lawns and places where we're not doing unlicensed dumping and nonsense like that. But you make a good point though, and maybe that will be part of it. Maybe that's the linchpin on all of this is as the tourism dollars start moving into the villages, that will bring opportunity, I think, into some of the villages. Initially at mom and pop stores, but who knows? Maybe more of these little restaurants might start popping up right there in the villages and on the main roads that aren't in Tumon, that have got some extra oomph in them, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. That's for sure. At first it started with the Russia market, and the Russia market was very mobile and liked to rent a car and drive around, and even though they stayed at the hotels. But since we have this enormous increase in Korean visitors as a result of the LCC, the low-cost carriers coming to Guam. Now we have 5 low-cost carriers coming to Guam. That's made it so accessible. And we've gone from, in 5 years, we've gone from about 200,000 arrivals from the Korean market to 750,000 on our way to 800.
Amazing.
So it's unbelievable. If you had told me 10 years ago that we would be doing 750,000, I would have told you were crazy.
Well, everybody thought you were crazy because all the business that you were trying to build up between Guam and Korea when you were at PIC.
Well, yeah, we were certainly the first ones into that market, but now it's just overwhelming, and to some extent, I think it hasn't been controlled growth, and it's gotten a little bit out of hand, and there are some things that we need to do, and the Hotel Association and the Visitors Bureau is working with the gubernatorial candidates to make sure that as we go into the new administration, and there will be a new administration, that we make the kinds of decisions that really benefit the entire island and allow tourism to continue to grow and the island to benefit and in the villages and not just Tumon and East Agania Bay. Yeah,
I think that we're going to need to get I know that the mayors have never been a problem for GHRA or GVB, and they've always generally been on the same page. But it looks like they were going to need to be a little bit more instrumental in controlling stray dogs and controlling uncontrolled trash in the villages and getting people to mow the yard every once in a while and just pretty the place up, because you never know when you're going to have company. The last thing it is occurring to me as I'm listening to some of the conversations politically that I wanted to see from you where we are on China-Russia visa waiver. Is that still an issue to, you know, as we look at the changes in our existing markets and the severe downturn in the Japanese arrivals here? Everybody was looking at Russia, and everybody had their hopes up that we'd start seeing a bigger stream coming out of China. Do we need to reinvigorate that conversation, Bart?
Yeah, I think we do, but I'm not sure it will make any difference to the President of the United States, who seems to make decisions, I don't know, using one of those magic 8 balls. You know, shake it up and there's your answer today.
Well, you'd think that his relationship, the alleged relationships, and the actual relationships that he has with Putin would make it easier for him to look the other way over the Crimean Wars and lift all of the sanctions against Russia.
I don't think that the sanctions is really the issue. It's more about airlift and risk, and the price of oil and the exchange rate, the price of the ruble. Those things really have a lot more impact than any sanctions. And that market, as beneficial as it is still limited in size. You know, there are about 6 or 7 million Russians who live on the Far East side.
Yeah,
and that's just not a big enough market. Even if they all come once a year, you know, the size we're getting just doesn't have the impact. China, on the other hand, you know, China is the game changer, and we had a great effort. And I think we thought we were making great progress.
Yeah. It seems to
kind of fell out of bed, but maybe it's time, you know, to revisit that and see if we can get that going. Although, you know,
Bart, unfortunately, I've got to break away. I've got the news that's already started here. I do appreciate your time. Tell the boys I said happy tennis, and we'll talk again.
Thanks so much.
All right, appreciate it. Love that opinion. The radio station is KUSG Agana. Here is Fox News.
According to the FBI, the Pittsburgh native repeatedly expressed a desire to kill all Jews. On Saturday, just as Shabbat services were getting underway, he moved through the synagogue using an AR-15 rifle and 3 Glock handguns to kill 11 people and injure 6 others, including 4 officers who were on the scene within minutes of the first shots.
Fox's Garrett Tenney in Pittsburgh. The first funerals are set for tomorrow. The White House says President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump will visit Pittsburgh tomorrow to express their condolences. Police in North Carolina say a 16-year-old student is responsible for shooting and killing another student this morning just before classes began.
He is in custody at this time at the Mecklenburg County Jail, charged with first-degree murder.
Matthews Police Captain Stassen Tyrell. Police have identified the student who was killed as Bobby McKeithen. The school says the shooting apparently stemmed from a case of bullying. 5,200 troops heading for the southern border as the Pentagon moves to beef up security as the caravan of migrants continues to make its way north.
800 arrived today from Fort Campbell and Fort Knox. 5,200 will be in place within a week. They will be armed for self-defense, but most of the units are engineers and military police. U.S. aviation units will airlift Border Patrol to points of vulnerability on the southern border.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. The mother of a 1-year-old who was swept into floodwaters created by Hurricane Florence has been charged in the boy's death. The Union County Sheriff's Office says 26-year-old Dazia Lee of Charlotte is charged with involuntary manslaughter and driving on a closed or unopened highway. This is Fox News.
I didn't plan to be a single mom. No one does. But here I am, mid-30s, divorced with 3 kids, just trying to make things work. With the rising cost of living on Guam, it gets harder for working families like mine to get by. I've heard some politicians say that the economy is good, but rent is higher, health insurance is too expensive, and our incomes have stayed the same. It's clear that the change they're talking about hasn't been for us, and we deserve better. I'm just so tired of all the empty promises. It's time to fight for a Guam that working families can afford. That's why I'm voting for Lulian Guerrero. Lou is a successful businesswoman who doesn't just talk about creating jobs. She doesn't just talk about housing. She's made it possible for people just like me to buy their first home. So when she says she's going to work to make Guam better, I believe her and I trust her. I'm voting for Lou, and I ask all of you who are tired of the way things have been to vote for her too.
I'm Lilian Guerrero, and I approve this ad.
Paid for by the committee to elect Leon Guerrero Tenorio. Tony Sanford, treasurer.
Recovery efforts underway in Indonesia after a jet crashed, all on board presumed dead.
The Boeing 737, owned by the low-cost airline Lion Air, went down after taking off from the capital Jakarta. Flight JT610 was headed for the western city of Pangkal Pinang. Rescuers have recovered some bodies and personal items, including baby shoes. There is no sign of survivors. The cause of the crash, which involved a plane that had been in operation just since August, remains unclear. The incident is reported to be the first major accident involving a Boeing 737 MAX, an updated version of the 737. In London, Benjamin Hall, Fox News.
A New Hampshire state lawmaker accused of assault in a civil lawsuit in California says he's the victim of an extortion attempt. State Rep Frank Saporeto, sued by Jonathan Carter of Simi Valley. Carter says he and Saporeto were business partners in the making of an adult film that Saporeto produced and appeared in. Saporeto says he only worked with him to produce tourism promotion films. Carter's attorney says his client has hours of footage from the adult film featuring Saporeto. An update on the recovery of singer Demi Lovato after her apparent overdose earlier this year.
Demi Lovato is on the road to recovery. Her mother, Diana de la Garza, has revealed that Lovato is 90 days sober after her apparent drug overdose in July. She was a guest on Conversations with Maria Menounos on SiriusXM Stars channel and recounted what it was like for her to hear the news.
The words that I heard are just a nightmare for any parent. Demi overdosed.
De La Garza says she can't really say for sure what triggered Lovato's relapse, but says she couldn't be more thankful or, quote, more proud of her because addiction is a disease. It's work. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
And Matthew McConaughey delivering a catered lunch to first responders in Houston, his hometown, to give thanks on National First Responders Day. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sports Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sports Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
Portions of the program brought to you by Subway. 14 incredible restaurants. Always smiling people behind the counter. You ever notice that? These guys in there must do 500 sandwiches a day. But when you walk in, it's like you're the first customer. Have you noticed that? And they've always got good stuff to sell.
You know why they're smiling? Bacon.
There. Gotta be. Can we get bacon in the Chipotle sandwich? That sounds like it would be great. You get steak on one side with the Chipotle flavoring on it and then bacon. That's good. Have it on your favorite bread. Put your favorite veggies and condiments on that. Put it on a wrap. Try it today. It's Chipotle cheese steak at Subway. Okay, your turn. You have to push the button now. Come on. Don't make me. If you leave the silence on, I'll play that Lou dance again. I'll play Lou's dance. Don't make me. It's like.
Will be there to lend a helping hand.
I will work to restore trust in a government that remains transparent through more open reporting. I will work to protect our environment so we can invest in new local industries that create more local jobs for our people. It's not about me, it's about we. I will work to help local businesses improve our self-sustainable economic outlook beyond tourism and the American federal government.
So vote for Jack, 'cause he'll be there for you whenever you need him.
You need a government that you can trust to work for you. I will fight for a fully accredited hospital, safer school facilities, and more police in the community instead of behind desks. But I need your help. For 13 years, I served you as a public school educator. For almost 13 years, I served you as a citizen soldier in the Guam National Guard. And now, as number 13 on the Democratic ballot, I want to serve you as your senator. Please vote Jack Hattick III for senator on November 6th.
So vote for Jack.
I'm Jack Hattick III, and I approve this message.
I hear that. It's Ray Gibson Show at 7 after 9, brought to you by my friends at American President Lines, shipping the future, in fact, tonight to Saipan. Excuse me, Micronesia Renewable Energy, never been a better time to go solar. And believe it or not, even up in Saipan, where they've have done their damage assessment, about 70 of the installations, 70% of their installations are up. The 30% that is down, generally down because of objects hitting them, not flying off the building. And you know what? Everything is covered by the insurance. So as soon as the ships are able to start carrying some panels up there, all that stuff's going to get repaired. It's cool. American Water Tech, smarter water, better water, and GRMC, Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs.
Are high power bills sending your budget into chaos? Take control with the help of Micronesia Renewable Energy. Using the highest quality panels, a solar energy system from MRE will guarantee to save you money on power. With MRE, Christmas comes early. With every solar energy system, homeowners not only get $400 for signing up, but also an entry for a chance to win $1,000 in cold, hard cash, just in time for Christmas. It pays to be an MRE customer. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
For more than 40 years, we've earned your trust, caring for our island's health, quality care and access to health solutions you deserve. Take care, our island, your health plan. Take care, health solutions that you deserve. Take care, peace of mind to coming for you. Take care, take care, take care.
The Ray Gibson Show, your new News Talk headquarters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
909. Last 7 days to get out there and get your vote. And we're going to do it by any means possible and at any expense. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a rocky ride. It will be a rocky ride. Who knows? I might even get dragged into some of this stuff. I was earlier. Innocent, innocuous conversation that I got with Frank Uggan in 2011. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you'd have asked me, Ray, where could I find that video? Where do I find that? I don't know where it is. I don't know where they found it. I don't know where the archive is. I'm saying, well, who owns that station now? Anyway. Subtle, right? Did you see it?
That was nice. That was very good.
Thank you. I don't know. So there's just, for me, we're getting into a time here. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if there's any videos of me floating around with any of these gubernatorial folks, or any responses that they may have made to any questions I might have asked them years and years ago that could get them in hot water today. On the other hand, he says, do they need my help to get them in trouble? Ray didn't need my help at the Glock party. Lou holding a microphone. I didn't give her that microphone. I was not emceeing a gig where I handed Lou a microphone and she began to do this. Michael, she began to do this.
And I love our culture. This is my island. I am from here, Ray. I was born and raised here, Ray. My family is here, Ray. But I am more qualified to be governor of Guam.
I didn't help with that. I did not facilitate that particular moment. Boy, but you want to talk about seizing, carpe diem, huh? Seize the day. And Ray Tenorio didn't give her the microphone. Thinking about it now, he would have grabbed it, wouldn't he? But he didn't give her the mic. He didn't tell her what words to say. So, but the
microphone
reaction
doesn't have a clip, man.
Can I just say the reaction is interesting. For me, it comes down to, how do you react to something like that? And I got to tell you, I think they're using some of the same drama department people that they've got over at Adelup. This is my island. The video of her rant has gone viral on social media and has outraged many who have viewed it, including her intended target, Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio. I find it appalling on so many levels. Never mind that she insulted me. How about our Filipino, Chinese, and Korean communities, or our friends from Palau, the FSM, or other nations, many of whom, like me, weren't born here, but have called Guam home for decades. These people have contributed to Guam's growth and development. They've raised their children and grandchildren here. Doesn't that matter to Lou? Tenorio stated. There's a question at the end of that. Is that a statement if he ends on a question? That's an
Well, Eric von Daniken did that quite often in his book, Chariot of the Gods.
There are also many proud Chamorros whose parents served our nation in the U.S. Armed Forces, and as a result were born on a military base somewhere in the world. Are they less Chamorro in her eyes because of this? You know what he's talking about there? Former Governor Felix P. Camacho.
Oh.
He was born, I want to say he was born in Camp Zama in Japan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
because, old man was in the service. Rex Hernandez, a resident of Dededo, said he found it highly offensive. My wife is Japanese and I'm a Filipino, and neither of us were born on Guam. Does that make us less important to Lou? I don't understand why she would say something like that. There are many residents on Guam who married to persons of non-Chamorro descent and who have children of mixed nationality. The Bota campaign does not believe that a candidate's qualifications or ability to lead should be based on where they're born. Tenorio said Leon Guerrero's assertion of birthplace making her better qualified to become governor is absurd.
I don't think she really meant any harm by what she said, but I also don't think she thought it through.
I don't know if I'd have gone down that, but I don't know. Haven't we all at some point said or done something?
Oh, absolutely. But
Yeah.
I think on this island, you stay away from the race card, man, because there are so many different people.
But I don't know. Is that patently racist?
On one level, I think
proud
it
of where
is.
she's from. Well, the license plate says Tano Imantamoro,
It's
land
okay.
of the
It's
Chamorro.
okay to be proud of where you're from and
I
who you
think-
are,
and I think
but not
that's
to think that
among
you're
the things
better
that
than
she-
someone else because of that.
Well, she's more qualified. She's listed in her ads a number of reasons why. Certainly, if you look at the Organic Act, as our friend Ismael has, there's no provision in the Organic Act that says you got to be born on Guam in order to run for governor of Guam.
Right. No, absolutely.
So, although I do want to say that, that was made kind of an issue. I want to say back when Felix was running. Ken, do I have that correct in my memory?
I don't know. I wasn't here then.
I gotta check.
State of Hawaii back then.
I gotta check.
Why I was calling was, we've got this debate.
You called to congratulate me on my clever subtleness.
Yes, but and also to point out you were hosting when she declared the limit of her what she was willing to do for Guam with Donald Trump.
At the deal?
Yeah, the chamber.
Yeah, the chamber deal. Yeah, well, she said she'd work with Donald Trump, and do. I think the phrase was whatever it takes to get good deals out of it. Yeah, and then got the 13-year-old snickers from the audience. But you don't understand. You don't understand the nature of why that I thought was tectonic. Because if there are people on Guam who absolutely hate Donald Trump, and she's one of them. And more so, I think was deeply disappointed when Hillary Clinton did not win the election.
Well, the reason why I called in is tonight we're having another debate. Tonight we're going to be subjected to an endless stream of sound bites that have been tested, not detailed descriptions of plans, which you brought up yesterday, and I thought it was very appropriate because that's the one thing that we have been lacking in this campaign.
It's the thing. It's the thing that we're not going to get now. Forget it. That time is finished. We are never ever going to hear about anybody's plans for who's going to run the Department of Revenue and Taxation. Arguably, the cash register for the government of Guam. Who is going to be running it after Mr. Camacho turns in his courtesy resignation? Who is going to be running the police department? Who's going to be running the fire department? Who's going to be running GITA? Who's going to be running the Department of Public Health? Who's going to run the hospital? We are already aware of severe and significant problems there, and I'm getting platitudes. I'm passionate about the job. I bring passion to the job. I've got some plans. I need to know who's going to execute your plan. And can I tell you, if you give me a name that I disagree with, I want to be able to say that guy's an idiot. Don't put him in charge of anything.
Well, that's where people need to start going out and testifying at these hearings, because I went out and testified at some of them, and it was politics as usual at them because I was the only one that testified. I'm talking about the port hearings. I went out and testified against the appointment of Francis Santos there, and I was the only one that testified against it. We had a string of port employees. In fact, it was almost like GMH Part 1, because here we had the entire body of all the port employees sitting there one after another reading from the script that almost sounded, they were reading from a script. They were literally holding a piece of paper and saying the same things. So, that's what happens when citizens don't participate, because I can't even begin to tell you how many hearings I've gone to where the only people were government employees testifying in favor of a bill that favored their agency.
Yeah.
And now we've got $1 billion budget on an island with 7,400 taxpayers, and we have $1 billion budget.
And what did we get? What did we get out of that?
We got $2.5 billion of debt that we have to pay. So that's why this election is very, very important that everybody get out and vote. Note, I'm not champion anybody in particular.
I didn't. I noticed that.
Vote, because the big problem we have here is that, and I don't want this to turn into another Hawaii, because if you look at Hawaii and look at where Hawaii has so many dubious distinctions, the highest cost of living, the highest homeless rate, the lowest unemployment level, but that's because everybody has 2 or 3 jobs, but they have the highest poverty level. You see, we're following Hawaii's playbook right down to the last page. The only difference is that we're a territory, they're a state, and they have access to sources of revenue that we don't have access to.
Yeah, but then they buy the most expensive government stuff they possibly can with it. It's a very, very, everything is more costly there as a result of...
Hey, we do that here.
Yeah.
Guam Regional Transport paid $75,000 for vehicles that were selling in L.A. for MSRP $29.
Yeah.
We paid $75. Shipping wasn't that expensive,
But we got a great deal. We got them already in the color that we like, and they won't run. 20 after 9 o'clock in the morning. I do want to point out, you're talking about Hawaii, and I was listening to DJB, Doug Steffen, and the girls yesterday, and they were talking about the state of California, where, and I'm beginning to feel that same way, and I know you are as well. And again, this is not a conversation about gubernatorial politics. I have not, I think, mentioned Lou or Ray or Frank's name in the context of this conversation. It's something that we have to be very careful about, though, is we've got rich people here. There are the so-called elites that live on Guam, and then we've got a whole bunch of poor people, and they've got safety nets that will work for them, and ways that they might be able to continue to be able to at least survive in this system. But where's the middle class around here? Where's the middle class? Ain't going to be able to afford houses here anymore. And they are the ones that are working a couple of jobs. They're not going to be able to afford to construct a house here. with everything that is happening. All of the doom and gloom predictions that were floating around a few years ago, and we said we're heading down this road. I think we're there. I think we're there. And how many people do you know that have either left or entertaining the idea of leaving, going someplace where the cost of living is going to be less expensive? There's, go to San Diego. I might not be able to find the kind of work that I want in San Diego, but I know that I have cousins there. There's Martinez is there and Torres is there that I can mooch off of until I get my feet on the ground.
Well, actually, isn't it sad that places like the Bay Area and San Diego, it's cheaper to live there than it is to live here on Guam? People find that hard to believe, but I was just back there just a few months ago, and every category you want, food, entertainment, gas, everything, including rent, was cheaper than here on Guam. But the difference is over there you have a middle class. Here we don't. Here we have 87% of Guam's employees make less than $40,000 a year. Where's the middle class? You know? So we don't have one. What we have here is we have a rapidly deteriorating lower class or lower middle class because, as you said, many people are leaving. Just about everybody I know is a multi-generational household now. You know, that's kind of disturbing. The cost of living here keeps going up. The job availability goes down because I hear all these new jobs that are going to be opening up. We got new restaurants opening up. That's not middle class. We've got hotels that are going to be opening up. That's not middle class. What we need to see here is an effort to redevelop the middle class we used to have. Unfortunately, the middle class here on Guam was government employees. And as we reduced government as an expenditure, we never developed alternatives for people to move into comparable jobs. And one thing that really upset me was when I was listening to the justification at the CUC for the last rate and power and water increase, $4 million of it was to make jobs, the administrative staff jobs at GWA more competitive with the local market. You know, really? I mean, no one leaves Applebee's to go work no one leaves GWA to go work at Applebee's. It's the other way around. You know.
It depends. I mean, we got to find other things. You know, the technology was great. I remember working for the incredible Lee Holmes, and one of the things I loved about Lee Holmes working for him was that he recognized that there was competition for the kind of employees that he had working for them. So you got line guys, engineers, technicians, dudes that drove pickup trucks all day with Guam Cable TV on the side of it. And when GPA got a raise, when GPA got a raise, when GTA, which at the time was still a public corporation, when they got a raise, everybody at Guam Cable TV, and even us folks in Radio 100, we all got raises as well because he didn't want to lose our people to the public sector. But there aren't a lot of companies that can do that. There are not a lot of industries where that is an effective HR solution.
Have you been to McDonald's lately?
Not the one in Jigo. I was at McDonald's the other night.
In Tamuini?
No, Mighty. The McMobile.
Back in 2004, I wrote an article about robo-cashiers, and they're here. We have them at Home Depot. You know, they've got 4 robo-cashiers. Now they're introducing them at McDonald's. So what are we going to do when we start cutting into our service jobs? Where are people going to go? You know, pretty soon we're going to get to the point where most people on Guam are going to have to come to a decision. Either we're going to have to work 5 jobs in order to live here, or we're going to have to leave here. And we're seeing that flight taking place now. I can't think of a single family that hasn't suffered from economic refugee status, you know, having their people leave. I mean, I've got relatives that have already moved. The other day I was at McDonald's and had some teachers. They're leaving Department of Education, and they're moving to Salt Lake City because they can make more money as a teacher in Salt Lake City with a lower cost of living. Who are we going to put in those classrooms here on Guam?
Yeah, that was the story about nurses years ago. 9:26 in the morning. Hey, listen, I gotta run. You going to go to the debate tonight?
Yes, I am. Maybe I'll see you there.
Is there a bar?
I don't think so. It's at the University of Guam, which is another story about not opening their doors to the widest possible selection of candidates, but we'll save that for tomorrow.
All right. I'll talk to you pretty soon. You have a good day. That's my buddy Ken Leon Guerrero, and the entire time he's on the air, Chris from Big Abetta is just sitting there fuming. But he didn't say anything about it. He didn't say vote for Frank. He never said vote Frank. Write him in. We give him a credit for that one. 9:27 in the morning. What have I got here? I was talking about ads, and what we're seeing now is the viral stuff that is floating around. And I want to know more about our plans. I want to know more about the who's going to be handling things. Who's going to be chief of staff? Who's going to be the next chief of staff in the governor's office? Who's going to be the guy that runs DPW? Who will I get to call when I am in that rant mode about the god-awful, butt-ugly chain-link fence that bisects Marine Corps Drive? The object was that we wanted to prevent students from John F. Kennedy High School from running pell-mell across traffic when they got out of school. So they built a fence there. And it wasn't, they didn't even say it was going to be a temporary fence until they get a better design. They just said, we'll put a fence there and prevent these students from John F. Kennedy High School from going across the way. And it did for a while until, by and by, over the years, between drunk drivers and storms, all of a sudden, the first 60 feet of it between the intersection and the front gate of the school is now open. It's all doofy. And so there is no longer any impediment to students from John F. Kennedy crossing the street pell-mell. And so now, but we are still left with this ugly, god-awful, butt-ugly chain-link fence that goes all the way down to the beer cave over at Shell. And I've been ranting about that to every single director of the Department of Public Works for years. And for years, I've had people throw up their hands. I don't know. What kind of design do we put there? What are we going to put there? We still got to worry about the safety of the kids. Blah, 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 blah. I can't do anything. I'm powerless. I'm impotent to make any kinds of changes there. So who's the next one I get to spend the next 4 years bugging about? Who's the next guy at DPW?
Let's just forego all of that, Ray. We have a device here by which we could raise the funds and the manpower needed to get out there and just tear the darn thing down and put something else up. Like, I don't know, bushes.
It's kind of what I'm waiting for is you know, we just need a drunk driver in a bigger car or something like that. You know, it's like a Bronco or something. You know, remember the old Broncos? You remember the old Broncos? I mean, those things were big, like trailer houses.
They
right?
were big, yeah.
So one of these, like, I'll buy the beer.
About a 73 Bronco. Made of steel.
Tell everybody, get out of the way. Get out of the way.
If you pay my bail, man.
Just straight in. Just knock them all down until you get past the shell. So we are left with no, because we don't replace things around here. Just FYI. As each one of those sections has gone away, they have not been replaced. So if the damage is severe enough to it, then it will, like the intersection over by Chicken Joy. We're about to build a brand new restaurant at the corner of the Micronesia Mall. Yeah. Brand new restaurant at the corner of the Micronesia Mall. Right across, catty corner, I think is how they say it in America. Catty corner from that intersection is the one with a sidewalk with lights that the tourists use. And it's been, got to be 2 years now. Some drunk went through and clipped off the first 20 feet of that ramp area. Okay. So now it's a hazard. Now I guarantee there's some little kid's going to fall into traffic because there's no chain link fence there anymore, right? Have they replaced it? No. Can we not buy pipe and chain link fence on Guam anymore? Do they not sell it? You know, I passed by Benson because it's near to the way home. They have steel pipes there. What, since Jack Peters closed, we have no place to go and get 2-inch galvanized anymore?
It's so hard. It's so hot outside, man.
So there's my rant. Who's going to be, and we got to start thinking about this stuff. Yeah, Ed Massey and I say the same thing. I'm surprised more drunk drivers haven't hit that fence that we know of. that we know of. I don't know. Maybe you get a couple of strong guys. Because when you're drunk, you get really strong, right? So you might go out there, bang, hit it, knock one of the poles over on the side. But, I mean, if you're scared of going to jail that much, that's where you find that second strength to just pull it straight back up, make it straight. I got it. It's straight enough? Okay, let's go. Let's go before the policeman comes. And there's another one. There's another one. Another piece of baffling. When they did the refurb of John F. Kennedy High School, I mean, these guys, they were beyond complete. You know, they took a long time, and I know that there were some problems, financial and protest-wise, but they finally got it done. And at the very corner of that intersection, and you drive by it every day, and I guarantee you don't give it a second thought. I guarantee you don't give it a second thought. Right across from Mezcla Dos at that intersection is a concrete building. You've seen it. There's a little concrete building right back there behind the plants the kids put down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a police Koban.
Oh.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a police Koban. Someplace where the police can go and hang out and fill out reports or take complaints from people.
Yeah, kind of like the Lower Tumon office.
Yeah, provide some kind of police service. That was what that was supposed to be. And there was a disagreement over property, and because the police department actually had land over in the corner that was being used for a ponding basin, and they said, okay, we'll give that up if we can get this over here. And then the guys over at DOE said, well, wait, hold on a second. How are we supposed to benefit from all? Anyway, and then the people all freaking out about, hey, we don't want cops on the campus with our kids. And I'm going, what? Why not? What's the matter with you? Why would you not want to have built-in safety officers on the actual campus right there in the corner? I don't know how people think. At any rate, so we've got, and they were never able to do anything with it. And I'm going, there's this whole section right there. You don't want kids to go across the way? Put the cops in the building. Put the policemen in the building. And all they have to do is stand at the window at the end of the school day like this. Go, okay, we're not going to have any running across the street, right? Okay, because otherwise I will cite you. There will be tickets going to be handed out. And eventually it'll stop, and we won't need the god-awful, butt-ugly chain-link fence there. That was a good rant. I'm out of breath.
And the whole idea just made way too much sense, Ray.
Okay, so we weren't able to find Frank again this morning, right?
No, yeah. I did.
Did you try hard?
I did, yeah. So he's a little busy, I guess.
I wonder if we the people go and take it down, the god-awful, butt-ugly fence. Walking overpass, sure, they got him in. The people would go, oh, yeah, that's so Vegas. We don't want that here. That's Vegas. There's 8 million people a day go to Vegas. What's wrong with Vegas? Let's put some Vegas down there. Let's make everything look like the sandcastle, for heaven's sakes. Well, the reason, I'll get to the break in a second. The reason was that I wanted to talk with Senator Frank Blas Jr. Notice I didn't say candidate. I said Senator Frank Blas Jr. Is because last night at 5, there should have been a public hearing on a couple of measures at the legislature. One of them is to notification, reporting, and posting of Chamorro Land Trust Commission land leases and licenses. It sounds like a no-brainer. We're making decisions. We're putting people on land, and we should tell everybody about it. That way, if something looks hinky again, like, oh, this person here is getting a lease, but that's because that's the sister of the director, so that somebody can actually know it and complain about it before they start building buildings on it or doing improvements. And then there's another one relative to establish a temporary moratorium over Chamorro Land Trust Commission, land leases and licenses until administrative rules and regulations as required by, another part of the GCA has been duly adopted and added, blah, 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 blah. And so the reason why I wanted to know how they did at that hearing last night. Were there a lot of people? Was there anything, and now I'll say candidate Frank Uggan, was there anything in there that could pierce Ray's campaign or Lou's campaign? That's all I wanted to know. 888-255-988-5874. I'm going to take a swig of coffee after I tell you about iConnect time. Swing by iConnect. Learn about why they are the practical choice. It's really easy. Great prices on internet and mobile and push-to-talk plans at iConnect.
Dr. Aline Yamashita.
It's great to dream.
But some of Guam's children are too tired, or too beaten, or too scared to dream. At any given time, there are about 140 children removed from their homes because it isn't safe. So it was a dream to build an emergency foster care home so that these children could be safe and stay with their brothers and sisters. That dream was stalled when neighbors opposed the plan because they believed such a home would devalue their property. Ray Tenorio knows the reality of being a foster child. He and Toniata will use education to help Guam children, especially those most in need of care, so that every person can shoot for the moon and land on a star. Ray and Tony have shown that dreams do come true. Ray's been a police officer. We've elected him as a senator, a lieutenant governor. He has earned a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. And Tony, his children, FBI, an engineer. One is at Dartmouth, and the youngest, we can hardly wait to see what she does. BOTA, bringing opportunities to all. The stuff that starts with dreams.
I'm Ray Tenorio, and I approve this message.
On November 6th, vote Tenorio Etta.
I'm Raymond Gibson, and I approve all the messages. They don't pass my muster. They don't run on the radio. And generally, muster is, let's make it so that I don't get sued. 9:37 in the morning portions of the program brought to you by my friends over at Cold Stone Creamery. They are the ultimate ice cream experience. Anybody can do vanilla. Anybody can do strawberry. Anybody can do mango. Anybody can do that. But these guys, they're coming up with stuff that you just go, boom, brain explodes, man. There's banana bread battered ice cream, sea salt caramel ice cream. There are two accepted pronunciations, caramel and caramel. And I don't know. I just put the ice cream in my mouth, and then I don't have to worry about the pronunciation of it. Try it. It's made with actual Ghirardelli sea salt caramel at Cold Stone, where they're celebrating 30 years of the ultimate ice cream experience.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training every morning on The Ray Gibson Show.
Some managers and supervisors spend as much as 60% of their time on this. I'm Jerry Roberts, and at 7:20 a.m. on The Ray Gibson Show, we talk about conflict and what to do about it.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point by Jerry Roberts at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts on The Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point.
Have I covered everything this morning? As patently and traditionally as fairly as possible. Have I obviously played the Lou video a couple of times?
It actually was kind of a thin table of contents today.
Oh, I know. Are you kidding? No. Your table of contents.
Yes.
No, yeah. My table. I'm down to the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
And then some. That's your hint for me to get to the bottom of the page then at some point, right? I just want to make sure. Because I don't know. I'm getting notes and messages from people asking, why did you play that? Well, because I played the other thing the other day. I'm trying to be as fair and equal as possible. Is there the Lou video? Yes, it's out there. Is there a response from the Tenorio camp? Yes. Did I play the response? Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. I think I've gotten everything out there. Haven't heard anything from Lou's camp on this. I've checked my emails. In fact, I just checked again to see if there was something coming out. I'm getting a sense of well, I'm not going to say what I'm getting a sense of because it's based on a conversation that we have decided is OTR, off the record. Yeah,
one of those.
It's the other one. So there's a couple of things that I like to think I'm pretty good at. One of them is being as fair as possible. You've got a side, I'm going to bring it out. You've got another side, I'm going to bring that out, and maybe find out either where both of you are right or where both of you are wrong. Okay, that to me it's an important haul because there's a lot of issues that are floating around here, and there's a lot of misconceptions, miscommunications, outright lies. And so, I like to think that it's part of my job to be able to sift through all of the media and figure out what's what. And then the other part is I can keep a secret.
Oh,
I like to think that I can keep a secret. So if you want to have off-the-record conversations, that's all right. But know that I may refer to an off-the-record conversation without getting into a whole lot of details, without getting into a whole lot of actual facts based on these off-the-record conversations. And I just assume, depending on who you are, whether you are an operative for the Tenorio Ada campaign, whether you are an operative for Frank and Alicia's campaign, or Lou and Josh's campaign, I'll make this statement here. I assume every conversation that we're going to have until the inauguration is off the record. I'll just assume that whatever you tell me is just between us, boys or girls, and treat it as such. But in terms of other things that were floating around beyond that, and beyond my desire to learn a little bit more about what the future is going to hold for me, not just as a citizen of Guam, but as a talk show guy. I want to know who my opposite number is going to be in a variety of departments and agencies in the government of Guam. The big ones, Rev and Tax. Dude, like I said, that's where the cash register rings around here. Guam Memorial Hospital, which is always in chronic situations. How chronic? I'll give you an idea of how chronic it is. Where's the email? What have I got? Lulian Guerrero gets fired by Eddie Jerome Baza-Calvo from the GMH board. There's a couple of videos that somebody sent me a link, and I don't know if that's going to be the next thing. But Lulian Guerrero dismissed from GMH board, bunch of links to stories in KUAM, PNC, etc. Because it actually happened, right? Actually happened. So who's going to be there? Parks and Recreation, the Department of Corrections. They've had some issues. They had some issues early in the year that were so bad they needed to augment their forces with police officers. So have all of those problems gone away, or are they just off the radar? Who's going to be running those places in whoever's new administration? So in the last 7 days, this is what today looks like. This is the sort of Super Tuesday. This is interesting. The CNMI election gets postponed a week. Wondering if anybody's trying to spin up a storm in their head. Get the same thing going here. Would I have a problem if it was postponed by another week? No. Would love that. Why? Because I'm a businessman. My business is advertising. And advertising during the political season is good. Is good. I like it. $16 million in COLA checks going out. Didn't talk about this. We did not speak of this in the news. It might have come up in a newscast, but it is an actual verifiable news story today. $16 million in COLA funding being sent to the retirement fund. And in usual drama department fashion, we have a quote from the governor of Guam, who said, "With the efficient management of our cash resources, we've been able to ensure that our retirees, our Manumco, are able to get their cost of living allowance each year of the Calvo Tenorio administration." What were you going to play? What sound effect were you going to play? No, not even that one, not even. And as I said, lately, given the recent habit of the entertainment department over at the governor's office, there has to be a quote from Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio. Of course. We have to have a Ray Tenorio quote in here. I might want to go back over all of the press releases talking about COLA checks going out, seeing if they've ever Ray Tenorio those press releases before. Or maybe we're only doing it because he's running for governor now. Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio said the COLA goes to retirees, many of whom lived on a fixed income. Now that music. For many of our retirees, the COLA is a huge help. We hope this year's checks, totaling more than $16 million, will help make the Thanksgiving and Christmas season a little brighter. Huh? Now we need one. Now we need one from Lulian Guerrero that says, you know, if me and my family hadn't loaned the government of Guam millions of dollars over the years, you wouldn't have $16 million. No! Arguably, whose bank account has this been sitting in? Is this from the First Hawaiian Bank GovGuam account? Is this from the one at Phil's place? I don't know. So there's that. There's that. It's 7 days away from the election and $16 million in COLA checks going out. Do you see it? It's some kind of coinky-dink. Ken Joe would say, holistically. All things are connected. Is there a connection between cola checks? They had to change that. You know how we got that civil service rule where you're not allowed to make complaints against somebody within a certain amount of time between an election? Mm-hmm. And we ought to have the same thing. There cannot be large $16 million infusions of cash into the economy within a few days of the election. There just shouldn't be, right? And I'm not blaming this administration. I want it to be clear. I am not laying blame at the feet of this administration because, frankly, this has been a habit of the people of Guam since forever. Yeah. Annual COLA due November 1st. Is that what it is? Well, for you maybe, right? Budget law. Budget law. Just think ought to be one of those things. Who else is going here? All right. I'm just looking over at my WhatsApp messages, and people have stopped yelling at me on the WhatsApp, so I think I'm safe now. Other things on the table of contents, as I mentioned earlier, and I feel bad because I didn't have enough time to talk about it, but it's a story of Andre Bainum, who's got serious issues with Ken Perez. Who is among the Democrat representatives, Democrat members on the Guam Election Commission, and he said a few things that, I don't know, Andre feels might show a particular bias. And Andre and Ken have already expressed numerous concerns over their treatment by the Guam Election Commission. And that's treatment that they feel they're being ignored. They've had asked questions about, can you count this or can we do this by hand? And every time they say no, every time the Election Commission says no, these guys get all kind of butthurt. And I think there were some comments that Ken made in his capacity as a member of the Election Commission, that increased the level of butthurt, I think, to 11. And so Andre says he's got to go. He's got to go. I guess they're looking into it. Ken Perez's response was that any request for a suspension of Commissioner, where Ken Perez said, is the result of ulterior motives. But that's not the quote of the day. The quote of the day is, I'm pissed. I really am. I am too old to be pissed, Ken Perez said. That's a T-shirt. That's a T-shirt, if you ask me. Somebody has got to go out there and have that written down. I'm too old to be pissed. And this is what you got to be careful of, guys, is he's still got claws. Ken still got claws. He didn't have to take those allegations. He didn't have to take those concerns sitting down. Trust me, when he says I'm too old to be pissed, I'm sure that's not. I am resigned to feeling this way. Watch out for the shoes. Watch out for the slipper. Ninja. 9:49. That's enough sound effects for me. I'll be right back.
I didn't plan to be a single mom. No one does. But here I am, mid-30s, divorced with 3 kids, just trying to make things work. With the rising cost of living on Guam, it gets harder for working families like mine to get by. I've heard some politicians say that the economy is good, but rent is higher, health insurance is too expensive, and our incomes have stayed the same. It's clear that the change they're talking about hasn't been for us, and we deserve better. I'm just so tired of all the empty promises. It's time to fight for a Guam that working families can afford. That's why I'm voting for Lulian Guerrero. Lou is a successful businesswoman who doesn't just talk about creating jobs. She doesn't just talk about housing. She's made it possible for people just like me to buy their first home. So when she says she's going to work to make Guam better, I believe her and I trust her. I'm voting for Lou, and I ask all of you who are tired of the way things have been to vote for her too.
I'm Lulian Guerrero, and I approve this ad.
Paid for by the committee to elect Leon Guerrero Tenorio. Tony Sanford, Treasurer.
Docomo Pacific is making the Better Together bundle even better. 2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
Get a 20-ounce stainless steel Circle K Coffee Club tumbler. Just stop into any Circle K, sign up for our Power Pass rewards program, and after your purchase of 15 cups of premium coffee, any size, you get your tumbler for free. While supplies last, conditions apply. See store for details. Get a 20-ounce stainless steel Circle K Coffee Club tumbler Just swipe your Power Pass key fob when you purchase Circle K Premium Coffee, any size. And after 15 cups, you'll get your tumbler for free. While supplies last, conditions apply. See store for details.
Guam Regional Medical City. We bring the healthcare advances of the world directly to you. We are an acute care hospital that complements your needs with our robust outpatient specialty clinics. From preventative care to critical care, we strive for consistent excellence at GRMC. Our core philosophy is where patients are partners, which means we work as a team to make a healthier version of you. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu.
You did it to me again. You totally... See, I was trying to put together the bingo for the great debate tonight, right? Bingo sheets, and every time a candidate mentions a phrase or a topic, right, then you could fill that in, and whoever gets bingo first, you know, everybody has to buy them around or something like that.
You just made me feel married.
Did you take out the trash? You ever get that? I was gonna, but now I don't want to. Yeah. So there's a bunch of words that need to be put down. If you try this, do me a favor. I'll try to describe it as best as I possibly can, and as logical and informational as possible. There are places where you can create your own little bingo cards online. And I think you can dress them up in, you know, different fonts and pictures and things like that. And all you need to do is supply them with words. You can do this with music. I've seen this done in bars with music. But anyway, so what you do is you put all these words into a list, and then that list will go and populate the bingo cards and randomly spread all of these words around so that everybody has different bingo cards. Right? That's the point. Anyway, so some of the words that I was thinking that we ought to use: rich. Okay. Now we can include the word racist.
Yeah.
And baby killer. Foster kids. If we put foster kids, gun grabber, we put gun grabber in there.
I think just the word grab would be okay.
Grab?
Yeah, just grab. It wouldn't apply to just anything else, really.
Well, see, because Audrey talks about him being a gun grabber, her being a money grabber.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
so who would that? You know what would end up happening is both of the candidates would use the word just to fill in a spot. Military buildup, economy, when those words get used.
GMH,
Guam Memorial Hospital, accreditation, CMS,
GBA.
certification, all of those things. So see, now this was what I should have done earlier. It's what I should have done earlier. I might still do it. Nah, screw that, I'm lazy. Because it gets to be...
Ain't nobody got time for that.
It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I got other stuff I got to attend to. There's other work that needs to be done. Weather the storm is the phrase. And remember, courage is always rewarded. Those are the words that I'll leave you with here today. And maybe I should have asked the people on Facebook Live, which I should have used. Yeah, Ken LG's, we're at bingo already. I know what you mean. What is this? I can't read that. I'm not even sure if I should read it. They're talking about Ken Paris. Richard V. Leo, I'm going to attribute this to you, dude, has the picture of senility. Paris should be mad at himself for not representing and protecting Guam public. Anger can be bad for his health. Somebody else wrote that. Somebody said he's just a grumpy old man. But you know what? I love Ken Paris. And I will say this. I like it when Ken Paris is grumpy about stuff that I like, right? When he's got a couple of issues by the horn and he and I are thinking in parallel, I like him being a grumpy old man. I want to be at that level of grumpy at some point. Yeah. You know, maybe after I'm 60 plus. Yeah. I want to be at that level of grumpy because it's just fun. What are we worried about? Oh my God, already? Wow. Okay. Here, Lou. Lou Camp, I got something for you. Hold on a second. I got to share this. I got time to squeeze this in, right? Yeah, send it there. Go ahead, send it there and make that buzz, and then let me get this video on the air. I've just been sent this just in to the actual radio station on the WhatsApp here. Come on. Don't take a long time here. There. Okay. No. This is just too rich. This is too rich. Turn the audio down because I don't know what kind of expletives are going to be coming out of this. Apparently, students at the University of Guam are ticked. They are ticked. Great debate tonight, and it looks like all of the spots have been taken. Whose signs are those? Whose political signs are those that are lurking around the university? Wouldn't normally be there. But everybody is trying to get their hands on the best parking spaces at the University of Guam. It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. There's still classes going on at the University of Guam. Hold on, let me back up because it looks like they're having a conversation. Yeah.
It was polite talk actually. There's nothing.
Sure. Whatever you say, buddy.
Yeah.
Whatever you say. There it is. Look at all those campaign signs. Just a whole row of them taking up student parking. There's your opening. They can't give you a hard time about that racist thing anymore. Just say, hey, aren't they worried about their children and the education of our children? I mean, yeah, the students at the University of Guam are suffering because they got no place to park their cars. I was just trying to go to school, man. I was just trying to do better for myself. I got my wife, I got my kids, and I just thinking maybe I'll just finish my degree. And today was the day I was supposed to come in for a test, but because I couldn't find parking because of all those political signs.
You're hindering my crawl from the ghetto.
Hindering my crawl from the ghetto.
Yeah.
See, that's T-shirt worthy, too. That would be great. You're hindering my crawl from the ghetto. Aren't you glad this is the radio station that you listen to? Aren't you glad this is where you start your day? I mean, there's all kinds of other stuff, that we could be talking about. I haven't said that in a long time, have I? Thanks for listening. No, really, I'm here and I'm glad you're there. A lot of other places for you to get your start on your day, information, entertainment, whatever. But you're here, and I'm really glad you're there. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate the metrics always keep going up. Advertising's good. People watching, people listening, all those numbers are up. And I guess the last thing I'm going to leave you with here is the guy. Can I just I think things have tightened up again in this race. I think things have gotten tight. Asked me yesterday, I would have said this is lose race to lose, right? And in fact, I know I said those words yesterday. Lose race to lose. And wake up this morning, and we've got the Lou superiority dance going on, and the response from the Bota campaign. As a result, you remember that old Saturday Night Live skit, right? I'm from here. I'm from here. You're not. I am. I'm from here. Anyway, so we got that going on, and I think it's going to be time where a particular candidate who we don't hear from too much, his endorsement is going to be vital at this point. And today, there is an endorsement from Senator Dennis Rodriguez. Is it to Lou Leon Guerrero? No. Is it to Ray Tenorio? No. Is it to Frank Uggan? No. He's endorsing Senator Adolfo Palacios for a return to the 35th Guam legislature. Hey, Dennis, trust me when I say that there's a whole bunch of people, and many of whom have got their cars parked illegally at the University of Guam, that want a chance to chat with you about an endorsement opportunity in the next week. Hey, I got to go. We're KUSG Agana, Ray Gibson Show. Until next time, have a fantastic Tuesday.
Troops to the border. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. 5,200 troops heading south to aid enforcement as the migrant caravan heads north.
As we sit right here today, we have about 800 soldiers that are on their way to Texas right now.
General Terrence O'Shaughnessy.
In a macro sense, our concept of operations is to flow in our military assets with a priority to build up southern Texas, and then Arizona, and then California. We'll reinforce along priority points of entry so as to enhance CBP's ability to harden and secure